Alicia Pratt.
Back in 08 at the beginning of December, Yuri Glasgow died a Russian cosmonaut. Remember Owen also on a break from making movies out of games for a buddy. Sat down and they go by the names of Bernie, Jeff, Joel, and Gus. The list ain't too long, Owen Gus, because I know you choose the theme song. We spit this on an episode that makes me look intelligent, not one without that lineup, cause it makes the song irrelevant. Bernie, Jeff, Joel, and Gus, entertaining us by discussing such shit.
Is there any more to that? No, that's it.
That was it. That was energetic.
That is, welcome to the Rooster Teeth Podcast.
What's your name?
I'm Gus.
I'm Gavin.
I'm Michael.
And I'm Bernie.
Wow, that's a relief.
Joel.
Welcome to podcast number 181. Can you believe it? 181.
Yeah, you just told me.
I'm saying it again.
Oh.
How many decades is that
That's
about?
5 decades of podcast.
Gavin?
Actually, technically, it's 2 decades of podcast.
It's not 2 decades.
It's 2 decades. We started in 2008. The 2000s and now the 2010s.
In 2 decades.
Gus, you would have made a great marketer because your math is so shitty.
A great marketer. Did you hear about the great offers sponsoring Rooster Teeth Podcast?
I looked this up. A nootropic. I wasn't familiar with the term nootropic, so I looked it up.
I didn't realize it was actually spelled N-O-O.
Yeah,
It sounds very
nootropic.
unscientific.
It's a big deal. It's
No,
a big
you
market.
think-
I feel like there's quite a few of them out there. You know, Alan, our sales guy, is a big nootropic fan.
Is he really?
Yeah,
Does he take the ones that the Onnit ones that we're advertising?
he sure does.
Okay.
Alpha Brain.
How are you guys working out on that?
He's on it.
Good. I'm on it. I switched. I was taking them at night to try to enhance dreams, but I've switched to taking them in the morning to try to increase mental focus throughout the day.
Is it
Yeah.
working?
I feel pretty sharp.
Yeah?
I
feel
have
pretty
to
good.
say he read that entire ad without flubbing once, which is
Yeah.
pretty goddamn
Although he did
impressive.
say roost teeth, but that's
Did I?
okay.
Did you
okay.
take note of that?
You know, Gavin, it's
Does it-
really fucking easy to sit on the sidelines and criticize.
I'm
Guess
not-
who's
I'm
reading
not-
the next ad?
I'm out here making stuff.
Does it matter when you take them? You're like, I used to take it at night, but now I take it in the daytime. Like,
when-
if you take it during lunch, is that like...
When you take it at night, it definitely
gremlins
affects
are
your
born?
dreams a lot more. Like when I
Yeah.
take it in the morning, I still feel like my dreams are kind of more than normal.
You
but
just
at night,
hallucinate in
with
the
just
daytime?
like fucking dreams nonstop.
I haven't taken those at night yet. I was taking the sport for the day, but I have a very sporty day of sitting at my desk all day, so like I felt spunky at my desk.
Hey, Michael,
Gross.
what is your story? Like, do you work out?
A little bit.
This,
Why?
Dude, you're buff.
Sometimes. Yeah,
You're
I'm
looking
a
pretty
buff.
buff.
But you
Thank
weren't
you.
always buff. Like, you used to be a fat kid, right?
I wasn't a fat kid. I was a fat adult because I got lazy. I was. Like, I was skinny my whole life, you know, generally without trying. I just had, like, a good metabolism. I ate McDonald's a lot. But especially when I started working.
You just
and,
described everybody as a kid, by the way.
Yeah, but... No, there's definitely fat kids. They're out there. I was not a fat kid. I was always a skinny kid.
How hard is it to be fat as a kid? I really
It's
wonder
gotta
that.
suck.
Dude, some of them.
Especially like if you
unbelievable.
like if you only imagine you're gonna get fatter, it's like my god.
Well, I mean, it's got to be legitimately. It's got to be difficult to be
yes.
fat as a kid.
It's got to be
Well, yeah, you get made
purely-
fun of nonstop.
Purely genetic.
I mean, just to get fat, it's got to be hard.
No, they get made fun
Not
of.
all the time.
No, I mean, it's like the actual process
He's
of
physically
eating
getting
enough
fat.
calories
Yeah.
with that metabolism at that age to gain that much
They-
weight.
They're trying to minimize their movement to the
Dude,
absolute.
Right.
kids have
bare.
heart. Okay, if you believe in something, just go and dive in. Eat
A
another
fat,
Snickers bar.
encrusted, clogged heart. They've got it.
Yeah.
Beating in that little fat chest of
if
theirs.
you really want that fucking extra bag of Cheetos, you'll claw your way through it.
I felt that as soon as I turned from 22 to 23, that's when I lost the ability to just shove food down me.
It
And
was
I,
like-
and I got a little belly. It's just
Hey, guess what? Shut the fuck up. Nobody else wants to fucking hear about your problems
Yeah.
from turning 22 to 23. Shut your
pretty
fucking
funny.
juvenile mouth. God damn.
You said
I
shut
only,
your
I only get
mouth.
carded for liquor like 95% of the time.
What'd you say?
Juvenile.
Oh, I didn't. I thought you said shut your Jewy mouth. I'm not Jewish.
Juvenile.
I get it now. Thanks. So, right, I want to talk about something. I've got a giant nose. Obviously, everyone in this room knows about
It's
it.
fucking enormous.
I'm wondering if this happens to everyone or is it just me? When if you drink, I always take this little snap thing off the top of the cans because when I drink,
The tab?
I make a little like plink sound like this.
It comes-
It does that. It goes like in my nostril and then it pings back out. So I always have to take this bit off.
So for people who couldn't see that, he took a drink out of a can and the tab went up his nostril and scrapes on the way out.
Yeah, it just
so
kinda,
gross.
it kind of goes just like.
Does that hurt?
No, I'm used to it. But I always snap that off. Does anyone have that? Or is that
I'm
just
gonna
my
go
No.
get a can of Coke. I gotta try
I
it.
do absolutely not have that.
Get me one also. I've never encountered that. But the side thing here is, why do you drink it at a fucking angle like that? Why don't you drink it head on with the tip of your nose, where you won't get caught in a
Also,
straw?
you have the tab bent so far
Because
up.
that hits the bridge of my... It's the septum. It's like
Look
mushes
how-
it.
look how
If it goes
far
up
the-
my nostril, it's not intruding on my skin.
Look, his tab is like this. He's like,
Yeah.
It goes like that. I have to push it down.
It's like at 50 degrees, dude.
My, what?
Never
yeah,
mind.
it was
I'm not
like
even
straight
gonna
up
try
in
to
the
explain
air.
it.
No, my
This
nose
is-
like lifts it, and then eventually I just have to snap it off.
Your nose is working against you. It's fucking funny every time.
The sound is satisfying. I'll give you that.
Satisfying plink.
It's yeah, but like it's being forced upon him, Gus.
The other thing, I don't
Seriously,
I,
I
choice.
compared nostril sizes with Barbara. She can't fit a little finger up her nose. I can fit my whole thumb up my nostril.
Oh, she's not trying. She needs to apply herself.
like that far? Yeah.
It's good. It's been.
Oh, great. Now I gotta open my soda with the thumb that I just stuck up my nose.
It's okay, Gus. It's your boogers. You can eat.
Hey,
it.
you know what? I'm gonna teach you a trick. Oh, you know it. So I've opened cans of soda my entire life, and somebody finally taught me the easiest way to open a can of soda,
Use thumb?
which is no. You like I'm used to doing this, yeah, but you press on the front of the tab, and it lifts up the back end.
Yeah, who wouldn't do that?
I never knew that. I never thought to
I
try that.
didn't know that.
I've been.
I'm confused. What's
So put your thumb on the front, Michael.
Yeah.
Press down on
And
the
then use-
tab, and then use your other finger then to lift up the tab in the back. So it just lifts it up.
It feels weird though.
Pardon
okay.
me.
It feels weird.
All right, I'm gonna try.
Also, I
Look,
just opened
look.
this can for no reason.
I'm
No,
watching- I'm
no
watching
problem.
Now see,
See,
it doesn't go anywhere
It
near your
pushes the
nostril.
nose. Watch now. I'll demonstrate. Hang on, let me. Open it. Bernie's made a mess.
Bernie just had a spill.
I was just trying to replicate your problem.
Ready? Hang on. Did you try to do it? Oh, okay.
Did you
I
wait?
had to try really hard to do
I
that.
don't want to try that.
I can't do it.
No, everyone else is fine. I've just got a giant schnoz.
You remind me of like
enormous.
Lois from Family Guy. Like just
Yeah.
a giant triangle on your head.
It's my Italian side.
Did you have an
on
enormous
both sides of your
nose
nose.
as a kid and then just never grow into it? Is that what happened, or did you just grow along with your nose?
My nose and the rest of my head have always been out of sync. I had like an adult-sized nose when I was a kid, and now I have a giant nose as an adult. So it's okay.
Do you think your nose is still growing? Like, is it not going to stop?
Doesn't
is
a
it
nose always grow?
Does it?
It might.
Yeah, I think your
does.
I think it
nose
does.
and your ears grow.
In your wee wee.
What's that?
In your wee wee.
I don't think that's the case.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
No, I'm pretty sure like everything just gets saggier and like it looks
Maybe
longer.
gravity pulls it. It stretches it.
Yeah, that I believe.
I'm sure that happens when you go from 22 to 23.
Thanks for nothing, Isaac Newton.
Gavin, wait till you get to 25. All right, it's insane over. You know what I'm talking about, Bernie?
I do. I know all about it. How old are you?
25.
Are you really?
Yeah.
So you're that much older than Gavin.
How did you break your glasses, buddy?
I broke my glasses because of metal fatigue.
Oh,
So
the hell does that mean?
I
You kept
set
bending
my
them.
glasses down, and then I ended up laying on them, and then that like twisted the earpiece.
That sounds more like you broke it because of Bernie fatigue.
It's well, yeah. And then you know how you bend it back into place, and you know you only get like so many bends out of a piece
Bend
of
it like
metal.
Bernie?
Yeah. So I just and then
You know when you have a bit of plastic,
I
like
do.
a bit of coloured plastic, and you like bend it and it goes white. It like brightens on the bend.
right.
Is there a way to undo that, or is that like a permanent change? In
Pretty
that?
sure that's a plastic scar at
Yeah.
that point.
You can't like reverse that with science.
I don't, with a dye, maybe. but not-
Put ice on it. That's what I would say. Apply heat and then ice. What'd you do?
I just remember like
What did you
Struggling
just
with that.
remember? You're just like, this one time I bent a straw. I remember. How do these fucking thoughts pop into your head?
He's got to think about something to talk about on the podcast.
Wait, he's looking at himself in the mirror. He's like, just thinking about the world.
So Gavin and Michael work for our
Rooster Teeth.
gameplay division of Rooster Teeth, which is called Achievement Hunter.
Yeah.
Which obviously
Yeah.
is one of our major products on YouTube. Billions and billions of views there.
Billions served.
And one of the coolest things that they sell, which is a very popular item, is they have these Achievement Hunter slap bands. And Gavin, if you've ever watched AWU, they like throw them around and snap them on each other's hands. Gavin has one in particular that is his favorite slap band.
It's true.
He selected it like out of 100 that came to the office.
Yeah.
they all bend slightly differently, but this one has the best fit for my arm.
It's like his
And
wand.
The other day, Bernie
It shows him.
took it off me and then ran around the corner, and then he bent it and came back with it bent, and I was like, "Do you know what you've done?" And he's smart enough to know how much I care about the slap band. He swapped them. He swapped it for another one.
It looked like it had been chewed up and spit out. His face, it was like a single tear went down his cheek by his enormous nose.
It took a minute to get down to the bottom.
The next day, it fell off the nose.
I don't have a sentimental one like that, but it is funny because there's like a shitload of them just sitting in the office. So Gavin, like one day he was sitting, he's like, no, no good. Ooh, this one, maybe. And he's just like making a pile, and then he just like broke it down where then he had like the final 3, and he's like, all right. This is it. He just chose it, and now he always wears that one and only.
The funny thing about those is we made them to be inserts in the RTX bag, our convention.
Yeah.
And like after we made them, we got a few samples, and like everyone loved them. We're like,
They're awesome.
Holy shit! Maybe we should make them and sell them.
I put it on with my watch now. It's like a thing I wear. It's permanently on my wrist.
So if you would like one, you can go to roosterteeth.com/store.
How much are they?
I have no idea.
I'll look it up. But clearly,
I think they're $5.99 for 2.
you don't want to buy just one because
Well, thank
obviously
God they come in a 2-pack.
Right.
Buy at least 4
That's-
6-packs.
Gavin has clearly illustrated
There's
there are
30 in there.
You can get an amazing one. You never know.
Yeah,
When-
you could get Gavin's.
We should ship those to conventions. Like we're going to PAX
Well, why
this
don't
week.
we? They should-
Yeah, I have no idea why we don't ship them.
I don't know why
Just
I
grab
don't
a
know
bunch, stuff them in your pocket.
Why do we only make one kind of them? Well, I mean,
We just discovered it.
we just randomly chose Achievement Hunter to give us
Oh, they're
slap
really
hands.
old. Are they
People
like from the
chose
80s
Achievement
or
Hunter.
something?
Yeah, and why don't we make one for the fucking podcast? Would
That's
we,
a- what?
Have we stopped making merchandise for the podcast?
That's a
Is
great
that-
idea.
Is that where we
What
are now?
merchandise is there for the podcast?
Like a fucking T-shirt from
No,
the old
yeah, but
name.
no, we don't
Bernie's
sell that anymore.
mad.
It's discontinued.
I know.
We don't have anything.
It's horseshit.
Headlight fluid
You know,
shirt. I want it.
we had a survey
get
on the
a shirt.
website asking people what kinds of merchandise they like, and podcast merchandise was the #1 most requested
Really?
piece
Well,
of
there you
merch.
go. That's
Don't people always request what doesn't exist, though? I mean, isn't that like the easiest thing? It's
also
like-
none of those people will buy it.
The podcast is also free. Will the merchandise be free?
That's true. Hey, wait a minute.
All right, I'm looking this up now. Where is our?
Dude, we would sell a stack of these at conventions.
I said this. I think I may have mentioned this on the podcast. I'm not sure, but when we got the first like 6 of these before RTX, before we got like thousands of them, we had 6 in the office, and it was like we were like Power Rangers, like running around with like the morphers. Like there's 6 on the planet, and then there's like thousands, and kind of lost its luster. But I still like them.
Yeah, they're
Now,
cool.
now you can be a Power Ranger too.
Your logo on the store site looks like a Power Ranger thing. All your fists in the middle showing this. Okay, the Achievement Hunter logo slap band.
Achievement.
It's a 2-pack for $6.95. I said Achievement Hunter.
Did you?
Jackass? You can't fucking hear.
Dude, your nose got in the way of his ear.
I love you.
That's what happened.
So, Gavin, with your enormous nose, now that we're talking
I
about
broke it. It's broken.
does
What?
it? That's not what made it big, though. You just
When?
made it.
Yeah, that's what made it bent and crooked, though.
Look, you just
look.
got shit on.
Yeah.
It goes to the left.
I think everybody's got that a little bit. I had a buddy
No,
in
I've-
college, Scott. His nose was fucking 45-degree
I
angle.
fell on it when I was a kid, and it looked fine at the time when I was about 3, and then it grew in a sideways.
You fell on your nose.
I just tripped out the back door onto my nose.
Oh
It's
my
like,
god! Really?
Please hit the
Sorry.
table harder next time you fucking tell that story.
I like having too. His nose is so big it doesn't even fall on his face. He falls on his nose.
It like stopped him.
and then I end up just like rocking.
Yeah, then he tilted to one side, fell, and hurt himself again. After he fell off of his own nose. So, have you ever thought about getting jobs based on your nose? Like, could you get like a commercial for an allergy medication? You could be like the before guy.
No, I'm thinking like Kleenex. Like they just start blowing. I bet you can blow the shit out of that nose.
Dude, you'd be surprised.
How does it look in slow mo?
Never done that. I always want to do a sneeze.
blowing your
But
nose.
I don't sneeze through my nose. I sneeze through my mouth.
Are you self-conscious about your nose at all?
No, I don't. I was going to say I don't have to look at it because I do though. I can see, everyone can see their nose, right? Because mine is like right in my vision.
If I look down, I
If I
can see
look
it.
down and cross my eyes, I can see mine.
Mine's always there. I'm always being reminded.
It's like playing an FPS instead of a gun in front of you. You got a nose.
Gavin,
And the
Gavin
right-
can never turn his head off.
And the right trigger just goes.
Someone's farted. Gavin, this is the thing about the Achievement Hunter office, though. Gavin always gets farted on. Like, if anyone has to fart, it goes to
I'm
Gavin.
getting kind of tired.
Guys,
Of the,
It's true.
I
this is
just-
a
my
professional work environment.
I know.
You guys are paid to come here.
I know.
You had to shush me earlier because I said something and I forgot that I was in a workplace. What was it that I just said?
I goes,
So yeah, let's repeat it on the podcast.
well, it's actually entertainment on the podcast. When he walks out into the middle of our break room and says about his friend, he goes, "Oh, Dan will fuck anybody who messages him on Facebook." I said, "Gavin."
I'm gonna send him a message right now.
So,
It's because we got a funny message on Facebook.
oh, Gavin sent me.
Oh my God.
He showed me his phone. He showed me a funny message from a
Alright, do you
girl.
want to read this out?
Okay, what, am I reading the first message?
Don't say the name of the person, but this is
Okay.
a message to me from a girl on Facebook.
Huge fan of the slow-mo guys. Love your work. Am I reading the whole conversation?
Yeah, read it.
Okay, do you want to be the girl? I'll be the girl and you be you, okay?
Oh, big girl.
I'll be the girl.
Alright.
You're always the girl. I want to
You
be
were
the
the girl last time, Bernie. Let us be the girl.
I'm a huge fan of the slow-mo guys. I love your work.
Thanks.
I don't know if Daniel's told you about me. Ha ha.
I don't know, maybe? What should I know about you?
He may have mentioned a threesome.
That's the kind of...
Capital D colon.
What is the capital D? Is that like a super
Is that
smiley?
a super frowny
It's like
face?
it's like a oh my gosh face, I guess.
There's like a frowny face. Like, he didn't tell you?
So Gavin showed me this. Guess how smart Gavin's getting. Gavin showed it to me, and while he's looking at it, there's the response bar. I immediately tapped it and typed in OK, hit send, but it's a fucking screenshot. He was smart enough not to show me a live version
Whenever I
of it.
show someone something on my phone, I take a
I already
picture
saw
of
him.
one.
I already saw him send okay anyway, so it doesn't matter.
So it all works out.
Yeah.
So-
you should film that in slow mo.
That conversation's already happened.
Spit roast.
Okay, all right.
I believe that first thing Gavin got that when we were at lunch, and he goes, "This girl wants down and out a spit roaster." And I was like, "I'm sorry," and he's like, "Spit roaster." I was like,
You're gonna spin it around.
Jesus. Welcome to the chauvinistic pig part of our podcast.
welcome to a top 5 podcast on iTunes.
God.
No, I don't diddle the fans.
So we were talking earlier, Gus, before he read the ads today, he was talking to Lindsay, saying, Lindsay, don't cut these ads. Apparently, Lindsay cut the ads out of one of our podcasts.
Yeah, luckily I caught it though.
So Lindsay, who is your lovely girlfriend, Michael, she is the young lady who edits the podcast. Let me ask you a question, Gus. Why doesn't Lindsay sit in? Lindsay just walked in.
Whoa!
Oh my God.
It's like she heard her name. She doesn't even work in this building.
Happened again. It happened to me at a party where I mentioned somebody and they walked in too. Hey, Lindsay, come in here.
Lindsay.
So,
laughed.
jeez. So
Get in here.
the question I have is, if Lindsay edits the podcast, and we always like talk to Lindsay about notes.
Yeah.
Why doesn't Lindsay just sit in here, even on days when she's not on the podcast?
I feel guilty taking her time. She's got a lot of stuff going on, and I feel like I only get one day of her work for the podcast, and I don't want to spend it in here.
Okay. Lindsay,
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
You also do like the what else do you do? The recap. You do other production stuff. You probably edit
share this
DVD
one.
shit.
RT Life and the recap are the other weekly duties that I have, but other than that, I just hop on to whatever project needs a doing that week.
Speaking of RT Life, people should go and watch Michael chucking up a £5 gummy
Whoa,
bear.
we don't know, Gavin. I could have won.
well, you could still win and chuck it up, though.
No.
Yeah,
You're gonna vomit
you
anyway.
ruined it.
I didn't spoil anything. You
Cut
just
that
spoiled
out.
it.
I won.
Hey, Lindsay, cut it.
Edit that out.
Note to self.
So last week you probably remember, we had a discussion where there was a contract for a bet in which Gavin was going to pay Michael $500 if he could eat a 5-pound gummy bear in 90 minutes.
And I was actually worried. He had so much confidence that I was a bit scared of it.
It's also Gavin makes the worst bets ever, and I just destroy him usually in every bet. And it's always some dumbass like.
I've
it's
spent a
usually-
lot of money on nothing.
It's usually not hard. It's more stupid. He'll go for dumb. Like he bet me to drink up an entire bottle of barbecue sauce.
That
I was
was
like,
dumb.
All right.
Ate 3 packets of
do you know
mayonnaise.
the entire time that we were in Australia together, do you know what he kept trying to get me to do?
What's that?
He wanted me to sit in a fountain, any fountain that we passed. I had to sit in it for a minute and cry, and then get up and leave with wet pants.
Would have absolutely done it.
That has been my go-to bet for like 4 years.
What is it?
No one has ever done it.
He just said he'd do
What
it.
is it? What do you want? Just cry?
Sit and
just
cry
have to,
in a
like,
fountain
just
for
have
a
to
minute.
sit and like look really sad
There's
and
a
cry
fountain
for a
UT,
minute
let's go.
while you're
Oh.
getting like
There's
splashed with a fountain.
There's probably one at South Park
Oh,
Meadows.
I would do that in a heartbeat.
But we don't have to. The whole point is, we're not just going to go to a fountain. You have to be like, passing by a fountain. And be
Okay.
like, go and cry in that for a minute.
All right.
And
Well,
nobody's done
maybe
it.
if you came out and we strolled around some fountains a little more, then the fucking bet would have come up.
You
But
guys
no.
go out all the time, don't you?
Not
Yeah.
by fountains, apparently.
We go
He's
for,
avoiding them.
we do lunchtime swims. at
We do
your
lunchtime
apartment.
swims.
Do
We
a bit of swimmies.
We do nighttime
Start crying in the
drinkies.
pool.
How did the kid from Jersey befriend a kid? Where the fuck are you from in England?
Oxford.
Oxford.
Oxfordshire.
How did this bromance grow? What
I don't know.
happened?
It's pretty good, man. I'm really happy with it.
It's good. It's a good relationship.
I used to,
I'm
uh,
happy with it too.
Like 3 years ago, I used to have a little
That makes
bromance going with
two.
Brandon, but we don't have that. We don't have that anymore.
You're so finicky.
Lost it.
Well, I'm just jealous. I just realized I've never been invited to lunchtime swims.
Yeah. Well, you wouldn't come anyway.
What's up? How do you know that?
Don't put that on him. Don't project.
We drink Sunny D and vodka as well.
It's true.
That sounds awful. I wouldn't want to do that.
Leads to bad things. Don't do it.
Yeah, no shit.
So you guys go on your lunch break. Michael lives somewhere close by.
Damn it!
What happened?
Gavin keeps hitting the desk over and over again.
No. He keeps putting his fucking drinks on my copy. This is a
reflex.
This is a
For me?
repeat of like 2 weeks ago. Again, the exact same thing. I'm getting it ready because I have to read it in a minute.
At least my headphones are on the right way this week.
Again.
No, they're not. They are not on correct.
Wow, actually, look, I tried to do it right.
You're so dumb.
wow, they were.
You're so dumb, you fucking idiot.
You might have looked at like maybe when, in your vision, your nose blocked the top of the R and made it look like an L.
Maybe I was just looking off the reflective surface and it looked like there was right.
Fucking
I've given up on pointing out the fact you put your headphones on backwards because I just assumed that's the natural state for you. That's why I didn't even say anything about it. I don't even think I said anything last week about it.
No, probably not. Maybe.
You're still on backwards. I don't care. You can be wrong for the rest of your life.
Put the top of it in front of your eyes like they're fucking visors.
I'll put them on the front and the back.
There you go.
Hey, do they make Bluetooth earphones for an iPod?
Yeah.
I want to get that.
Can you
Pretty sure they
hear? Can you hear through your head?
Yes, yes. They have a. I forget the name of the brand of it, but there was a cell phone headset you could wear, and it would. There was no mic. It was just an earpiece, but it would get your mic through the.
I think Jawbone made it. Wasn't it Jawbone?
Yeah, I want to say it was Jawbone. That's where the name comes
Yeah,
from.
but
I
if
guess.
you like sealed your, say you poured like wax into your ear and it's a perfect seal for your ears,
Yes.
would sound travel through your face to your eardrum?
Let me tell you something, Gavin.
Here we go.
your face.
Again, let's.
Prepare to get
I'm gonna
signed.
try this. I'm gonna plug my ears.
Have you ever seen a game show where they put someone like in a they're talking about something from someone they don't want them to know, so they have to put headphones on?
Yeah.
Do they hear through their fucking face?
I think they also play music on that.
Yeah, that's
No, they don't.
Yeah, they do.
Or maybe they do. But no, you can't. What if there's a perfect seal in your ears? You can't hear.
I
Why
think you're
not? If
wrong.
it was
I
loud
think you're
enough,
wrong.
The sound would
Plug
travel.
your ear. I'm
your-
doing it.
But it's not a perfect seal. I'm talking
It's not
like
perfect seal.
you're talking
We
like a
should-
vacuum, right?
Yeah, no, I'm just talking about like there's no air gap whatsoever.
Well,
A vacuum.
So you're talking about a vacuum, right?
That doesn't mean
How
a
dare you
vacuum.
call my seal not perfect, you fuck? I'm over here with my fingers in my ears.
Fingers in your
See, a vacuum. There's air in there, though, isn't there? Like sealing your ears wouldn't make it a vacuum on the inside.
See, you do it.
Yeah, it would.
No, it wouldn't.
Oh, you're right. It would. There should be air in there.
Well, based
Anyway.
on your theory, deaf people
Airtight.
could hear because they can like feel sound.
But deaf people aren't deaf because they've got blocked ear. They're deaf because their eardrums don't work.
But that would be the best cure ever. You go to the doctor after 30 years of being deaf, it's like, I got some shit in there.
Here's a Q-tip.
What I'm saying is sound is just like a vibration of the air, isn't it? It's like a frequencies of air moving.
Okay.
If something is loud and forceful enough to travel through the skin and bone on your face to your eardrum, having something in your ear wouldn't affect it. Surely there's an explosion loud enough that you can hear with perfectly sealed ears.
I think
Because
he's-
the sound
I
goes
think he's-
through your head.
I could see that. Okay.
I mean, it's also why your voice sounds different when you listen back to it on a recording, because you're used to hearing your own voice through your head. Mm-hmm. So, yeah.
Or when you get shit underwater.
It would be horrible, though, if to hear through your head, you had to walk around with your mouth open all day. It
probably would help.
It probably might.
probably really
you
would help.
Catch more
So
sound.
I guess too, like you have to wear like a metal or like a plastic or like a balaclava that covered your entire head so you couldn't hear. Well then,
Well, let's find out. I think we have an RT life in the making
Can
here.
we just
Gavin
like
Iron
go
Man.
the cheaper route and just put a plastic bag on his head? I'll tie it.
Yeah.
See what happens.
Punch
Can you
him a
hear?
little bit.
Can you hear me now?
Watch it turn blue in the face.
did you ever listen to those? What's it called? Binaural sound things where they record with the two mics exactly where their ears would be,
Yes.
and they can like they have a fake like mannequin head with mics in the exact same place an eardrum would be, and like put a bag on the head, and when you listen to it with the right headphones in, it feels like someone put a bag on your head.
Because it would be backwards for you because you have your headphones on backwards all the time. But we don't. Do you understand what he's saying? So
No, I've
they
never
set up
heard
a
of this.
recording and they have two microphones and they set them equally apart as what your eardrums would be. And the left mic is the left channel and the right mic is the right channel. So when you listen back to these things, there's a bunch on YouTube.
So it's
Yeah.
like directional almost.
So what
like
it is it
you-
takes-
well beyond direction. Like you could pinpoint exactly where
Yeah,
stuff's
you
supposed
can
to be.
pinpoint location
Right.
because your brain can differentiate the very slight delays
Yeah.
in sound between one ear and the other. That you have like a visual map of where that is, even though it's not there.
So like a
there's-
guy who walks around the setup talking, and you
Yeah.
can close your eyes and you know where he is in the room.
So something
Yeah.
I never thought about till right now is if you're deaf in one ear, you can't tell where sound's coming from.
I think that's true.
Well, you might be able to be just from the loudness of it.
True.
There are
It
also-
wouldn't-
you might
it wouldn't
be
be
able
as
to-
accurate.
Like
Distance.
sonar?
There's also certain angles, I think, in
Yeah.
front where you've got like a hearing blind spot where you can't tell whether it's in front or behind. There's like a certain angle between your ears.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Did
But
you
it's
guys-
really cool, those binaural things. There's one where you're getting a haircut.
Yes,
and there's
that's
like
the one
that,
I
like,
remember too.
And it feels like he's shaving your head.
It's
It
on
feels
YouTube, you said?
weird.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's so cool.
You need
I
a
love
pair
it.
of stereo headphones for it to work properly. But yeah, you just go on YouTube and I'll look up the title now.
That's really interesting.
top.
I've always wondered why deaf people couldn't develop like sonar where they just scream at stuff and then like feel the.
You always wondered that? Is that
Yes.
something you've always wondered?
Since I was born, I have questioned this. But like, think about it. You think
They don't have
couldn't do that?
receptors for the sonar.
They'll invent
Well, no.
one.
What do you mean?
Invent
Why
one.
would deaf people do that?
Yeah, well, one would be awesome because it would scare the shit out of people.
Well, you would
Are they, what? Are they scaring off predators now?
you
also-
would
I don't
hate
understand.
all deaf people.
They don't need to. You would think blind people would do that.
Yeah, deaf people.
Yes. That's why bats have sonar.
I'm gonna
But
go
no.
now.
There's a video of that guy.
Actually, I like Lindsay's like Academy for the Handicapped. She has blind people who walk around. They just punch. It's like they run down the street punching in front of them. It's like the worst possible solution.
They just walk in the direction of the hand that hurts the least.
Welcome to the Blind Academy.
They do like windmills with their arms.
Well, I broke my wrist, so I'm gonna go this way.
The blind people are running, windmilling their arms, and the deaf people are all screaming.
It's the greatest war ever.
Just unleashing two armies towards each other. Just a load of windmills and a load of people yelling, getting punched in the face.
Jesus.
What would that look like?
How do we get here?
Someone
All right, the YouTube video is called "The Virtual Barbershop."
I think it's called like cetera or something like that. That's a word.
Cetera.
Something like that.
All right, go
All right.
for it.
See you, Lindsay.
At one
Thanks,
point,
Lindsay.
he leans in and
Bye.
whispers right in your ear.
Yeah.
He's like doing all this stuff, and then he just goes like cetera, and it's really creepy.
And
That's
it's got 13 million views, which
Wow.
also congratulations, Gavin. You have a video that just broke 20 million views.
I
on
can't
YouTube.
get my head around that number. Sometimes I'm sat in like a football stadium and I'm like, this is a dump load of people in here, and it's like 25,000 people.
Yeah.
20 million people.
So it's like
Yeah.
for every person, almost for every person in that stadium, like 1,000 views.
yeah. That's
It's like
crazy.
That's a lot.
if everyone in New York and Los Angeles and Houston and Chicago watched your video. That's about 22 million.
And
20
they
million.
did, Bernie. They did.
It's probably more than that, isn't it?
What is New York? Is New York 10?
I thought New York was like 14.
Okay, sure.
It's like a third of the UK.
What is?
20 million.
A third of the UK. That's a crazy way to look at it. A third of the UK.
It's like 2/3 of Canada, right? Canada's only like 30 million.
What's that?
Isn't Canada only like 30 million people?
Is
That
that
might
really?
be Britain and not the UK. Maybe.
Do you count like Canadians as a full? Like do they count
The,
as a full
the
American?
conversion's pretty much 1-to-1 at this point.
I was amazed at the population of Canada. It's like 90% right next to the border of the US. There's like nothing up there.
I think it's like 90% of the overall population of Canada lives within 60 miles of the U.S. border.
That's crazy.
Yep.
It's like an empty.
They want to nestle up to this greatness, baby. Like, yeah, what's up? You want to get with a winner?
They want to feel the heat.
Yeah, the
heat
winner-
resonating off the top of America.
We're like the blankie they're pulling up. Like,
Yeah, they're like,
my American blankie.
comfy. I want to remind everyone that this podcast is brought to you by Onnit, ONNIT.com, and their flagship product, Alpha Brain. Alpha Brain is an all-natural supplement. It's the first fully balanced nootropic cognitive enhancer designed to raise levels of all major neurotransmitters and clear up mental fog. What that means to you is in games, you have faster mental speed, quicker reaction time, and increased focus. Onnit has a bunch of great other products to help for your mood, immunity, energy, even hemp-based protein shakes. And I know that Tom Taylor, who's T-Squared, he's a professional gamer, has been raving about it lately. So if you go to onnit.com/gaming, that's ONNIT.com/gaming, and enter coupon code ROOSTER, you get 10% off of their fine products.
Is there any caffeine in it?
No.
It's caffeine free, but it makes you more like.
I had the product in with me last week, so if someone asked me about the ingredients, I could read it, but I
yeah.
forgot to bring it in with
Well, it's on
me this
Gavin's
week.
desk. He also kicked the table
Do you want
really
me to get it?
hard. You need it while you're doing that, and he almost fucking cried.
I saw.
It was
I
incredibly
was
funny.
trying so hard
You
to
did a good
maintain.
job.
I was focused
I
thanks
saw
to the
it.
Alpha Brain.
The Alpha Brain
It
kept
was
you
like
focused
it
while
was
Gavin
like
was
keep
fapping about.
reading. Yeah.
Speaking of me banging my knee, we did a rage quit together the other day. last week.
Yeah, we did.
And we're playing Slender again. It's just a super jumpy game. It's not really that scary. It just scares the piss out
It's
of
not
you.
that scary. It just scares the piss out of you.
Yeah. It just makes you really jumpy. And I leant back and I banged my knee on the underneath of his desk so hard.
You are like the jumpiest, cattiest person ever. Just like you're like
Cattiest?
cat. It's like a cat. Like
We
the
actually,
second something happens, he wants to fucking fly off and just like cling to a wall or something.
We actually recorded some live action. Are you going to put that up as a separate video?
Yes.
Like a behind the scenes? That'd be good. I'm flinging all over the place.
Your video actually has in the last 30 seconds has the picture
Yeah.
of you guys actually doing it.
Yeah, but I think they're going to put the entire.
I'm gonna.
There's one
laugh.
bit where
I'm
we
gonna
see
make a
him.
behind the scenes video, which is all. It's just like clips of the picture.
Real quick though, explain what the game Slender is for somebody who's never played it.
It's about the Slender Man.
It's like. It's
Thank you.
Yeah, you suck.
Thanks for the fucking explanation, asshole.
You're walking through the woods. You're trying to find pages on.
What's Braveheart about? It's about Braveheart.
It's about some pretty courageous guy.
I appreciate it. What's Star Wars about? Stars. War.
Some people fighting in the stars.
What's Star Wars about? It doesn't have Batman.
Okay, what is Slender?
So you're walking around the woods. It's dark. It's nighttime. You're trying to find 8 pages, and the longer you take to find pages, this dude is following you through the woods, and he will crop up in certain places. If you look at him for too long, he'll get all up in your face and kill you. But you basically have to run. You've got a flashlight.
So-
It's just very scary.
You're being hunted by this like faceless dude. In
Yeah,
Yeah,
like
so the
a
longer
tall,
it takes
faceless.
to get pages, that's when he shows up. I always thought, like, from watching, because I've only ever watched the videos.
Basically, if you don't get the first page quick enough, he'll just start following you. And
Right.
if you stand still long enough, he'll just come up to you and
I
turn you
thought
around.
if you grabbed the pages, he showed up and
He
you had to run.
gets like more aggressive.
Yeah.
The more pages you get.
He's not actually there before you've got the first page, unless you take forever, and then he'll show up and just kill you.
But it's one of those things where it's just like you turn a corner and there he is.
Yeah, when
Yeah.
you're in the building, I was going to say, because in this live action thing, this isn't in the Rage Quit that came out, but there's a bit where I just turned around a corner and he's just stood in the building that we're in, and I was wondering why on the Rage Quit you can only hear Michael scream, and it's because on the live video I fling back in my chair and I'm like sliding down my chair like.
It looks like they're driving in a car that got hit by another car. They both just like shake off to the side. They disappear off the camera view.
Disappear off camera. It's pretty funny.
Plus, you have to have headphones on when you play because there's some pretty intense music.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what makes it for like the reactions and why it's so much more legit. Like we have like the headphones really turned up, so if you're like watching the video, the sound effects don't play as much as if you watch it like with headphones on. Like we have it cranked up, and Gavin I saw even just looking through the footage of the live version, Gavin constantly taking off his headphones. He's like, "It's loud in my ears, Michael. It's scary."
That's really funny.
But before Lindsay came in and gave us her cure for deafness,
Yeah, that was incredible.
Sonar.
which is just to scream all the time. There was a great. Do you remember those?
She's been thinking about that for a while.
Clearly,
Oh, wow.
You know?
because that's what deaf people need is sonar, but when they can see perfectly. But do you remember Deep Thoughts by Jack
Handy?
They
Yeah.
were on Saturday Night Live. That
Yeah.
thing. There was a great one he had, which was if trees could scream, would people be so cavalier about cutting them down? Maybe if they screamed all the time for no good reason. It's like that's what I imagine is deaf people walking around screaming all the time. But did you read about the Soundless Room, which is the world's quietest room by design?
Oh, they've designed it.
No.
Does it have like a load of like angled bits of foam on the inside?
It's it's got sound absorption on the floor, on the ceiling, everywhere, and it's like encased in concrete. I can read you the
I
specs
can't
here.
imagine hearing nothing. Because I feel like when I'm in a silent room, my brain lifts like the bottom level of noise, so I just hear stuff that's really quiet.
The longest that
It's like a
anyone has been able to stay in this room is 45 minutes
What? Just because it's
Really?
because they can't stand it.
Wow.
And they have to leave of how quiet it is.
they probably just can hear their own heart and hear their own breathing.
and their digestive tract. That's what it is. Yeah,
They can hear their digestive tract?
yeah, they hear their body
Crazy.
because all that stuff is below the noise floor of the world, and so you're not used to hearing your
Have
body.
you ever been in bed at night and it's really quiet and you turn over and you hear all the stuff in your stomach just
Yeah.
slosh over? It's like,
Yeah.
and then you realise that you just got like loads of sacks of liquid
Well,
inside
we're
you.
all just like big
Yeah, we're just bags
sacks
of
of
liquid.
liquid. There was a thread on Reddit. I didn't follow up to find out whether or not it was true, but someone said that, going off of your soundless room, someone said that if you lay in a dark room and cover your eyes with like half of ping pong balls,
I'll look it
and
up. Yeah.
turn on a radio with like just static for white noise in the background, that within just a couple minutes you start hallucinating.
What the fuck?
It's like sensory deprivation since you can't see anything, since it's dark and you have these, things over your eyes, and then there's just that white noise in the background that your mind starts inventing things to keep itself occupied. I think the most common thing it said was that people start imagining rainbows.
What?
The fuck?
It
Maybe
was
there's
something like
rainbows
that.
embedded into the static.
In the static, it's
Yeah.
like secret codes.
Did you ever see that thing they did in Portal where if you took that radio in one of the Ratman's dens, it would play like it would sound like a modem or a fax machine, just going like cheep, 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 cheep. And if you played it into a certain audio piece of software, it would print a picture of the companion cube sitting on the moon. Did you ever see that?
Oh, I think I
Yeah, I
heard
saw
about
that.
that. Yeah,
It's cool.
That was
It's a
really
very cool
cool.
hidden message. They're just like anyone would just think it was just a random noise.
man,
That's really weird.
It's actually a really cool
and
picture.
You actually see it low because as the sound's going in, this piece of software is decoding these sounds. It's like a really fuzzy image. It,
Yeah,
it
it's
looks
not-
like a picture that was actually taken on the moon. It's like, cheep, 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 and then you see the moon looking at the Earth with a companion cube.
Here's what they recommend you do for this experiment. You're going to need 3 things: ping pong ball, a radio with headphones, and a red light.
the red light. That's right.
Turn the radio station to a station with just white noise and put on your headphones. Step 2, cut the ping pong ball in half and tape each half over your eyes. Turn the red light on so it's facing your eyes. Sit there for at least 30 minutes and you'll start to hallucinate.
That's fucking
I
crazy.
really don't want to do that.
I'm going
That
to do it.
I
sounds
don't wanna do
crazy.
that.
You're
Like-
gonna like stab yourself.
I always think when I see stuff like this that I'll be fine. Like the Chinese water torture, which is basically just when you lie down and water just drips on your forehead over and over again, and you think, what is so bad about that? But you see people react to it on TV and stuff, and how emotional it makes them, and they like end up like freaking out, and they want to get out, and they're crying. I feel like that wouldn't happen to me. But
Okay, let's torture Gavin.
I know it. I know it would. Like I feel confident that I'd be okay with it, but I wouldn't want
but
to do
you
it
know
anyway.
you can't trust yourself
Yeah.
because you're an idiot.
It doesn't really, like, there's something psychological about it, too. Like,
Apparently, it feels like someone's just drilling very slowly into your head.
Yeah, that they're putting it
Just
dent
on the
in your
same
head.
exact point over and over again. It's random as well. So it's like, bloop.
How long does it take?
Not that long.
Let's film it and find out.
And why is it called Chinese water torture?
Because they did it in China?
Did they?
I think so. Well, it's like a Chinese burn, isn't it? Did they do that in China?
Chinese bird.
No, we call it
What is
Indian
that?
burn
We call
here,
it
I
Indian
think.
burn.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, when
Yeah.
you like twist
I
someone's
remember
arm.
Gus freaked out once that I called it the Mexican wave because apparently you just
No,
call it the wave.
The wave. Yeah. I was like, what the fuck are you talking
Wait,
about?
what? Oh, in the crowd?
stadium.
Really?
Yeah.
It's the Mexican wave.
Why the fuck do you call it that?
Everyone does.
No, they don't. I've never heard that till you said it that one time.
Did Gavin ever talk about the whole lemonade thing on the podcast?
No.
We got into like a screaming match about it during one of our swims.
I guess I was confused as to what lemonade was. I always thought 7-Up was lemonade.
See, all of a sudden he's being perfectly understandable about this and reasonable.
Okay, go ahead. What did he tell you?
Well, I was like, Lindsay, he's mentioned something about lemonade, and I can't remember what he said. But he's like, it's 7-Up. And she's like, no, it's not. She's like, that explains it, because she was in England once with her family. I'm not sure where she was. But she asked for lemonade, and they kept giving her 7-Up. And she's like, I want lemonade. And they're like, you have it right there. And like, Gavin's like, it's fizzy. Lemonade's
So,
fizzy.
okay, so if I was in a shop in England and I bought some R White's lemonade, I would put it's just like clear fizzy drink.
It's like cider.
No, it's like completely see through.
So it's like 7-Up.
It's,
No,
it's 7-Up. I
know
never
it-
drink this stuff.
I've had it. I know exactly what you're talking about.
And that's
it's
lemonade.
called lemonade.
It's fizzy.
It's clear and it's fizzy. It looks.
So what's lemonade here? What is lemonade?
It's like lemon and sugar.
It's lemon juice, water, and sugar.
So it's not fizzy.
No.
No.
That sounds way better.
It's
Yeah,
good.
it is way better.
Lemonade- It's good.
I just hate all fizzy drinks. I'm into Dr Pepper. That's
That's a
pretty much
fizzy
what
Yeah,
I
I can
drink.
tell you spilled a shit ton of it over there.
Jeff was trying to jam a pen up my ass.
Why? At the workplace?
At the workplace. At the workplace. Also, just so you know, he did also spill that. Did you see he spilled that on his desk?
Yeah.
When he wiped it up with the paper towel, I think he may have put those on your desk.
Listen,
Yeah,
listen.
well, my
Can I say
desk-
something? I gotta interrupt you here for a second. If you're gonna burp or yawn or whatever, just do it. The voice that everybody makes when they're trying not to, like that's the talk like he was just doing. We all do the same thing. Just don't do it.
I wasn't burping. I was just talking.
Why are you talking like this?
I was just talking.
And then he even did like the chin down kind of thing with it too.
I didn't notice.
I'm not going to burp though.
All right, well,
you just did it for no reason.
Oh, well, listen,
Why are
I'm
you
sorry.
coming at me,
The
Bernie?
thing is, people,
I'm just talking.
people always run for a few sentences like that and then just go, excuse me. It's like they wait, but then still burping. It's like,
It
Maybe
was
they
that-
can't- maybe they
that-
can't get it out yet.
That
They're
was
still-
that was more of the like. So that might be on your desk. That was more of like a how I was telling the story.
so my desk,
Descriptive.
My desk is nearest.
Michael, I want to apologize to you
Okay.
for involving
I
in
feel
the
you.
criticism. I really do. I
My
wanna
desk
apologize.
is nearest to the door in the Achievement Hunter office, which means it's the abuse desk.
Yep.
Stuff gets left on it. Bernie came in the other day, put a grape under the keyboard, and then smushed it in. Didn't
At
see
the
it.
workplace?
Didn't find it.
to use a phrase?
Didn't find it for a while. It was sticky as hell. Then I gave Jeff a load of mints. He flobbed them all over my desk and then stick
Explain what flobbed is, please. please.
Spat him out of his
Okay,
mouth.
there
Yeah.
you go. Thank you.
And then he spills Dr. Pepper and wipes it, smears it all over my desk.
The thing about the Bernie with the grape under the keyboard thing was he did it. I was sitting there. I didn't even see him do it. Like, people come in and out of the office like a million times. So it's just like I see people coming and going, but unless they like talk to me, generally I won't turn. So Gavin comes in. He's like, "Was Bernie just in here?" I'm like, "I don't know. I don't think so." He's like, "What did he do?" I'm like, "He didn't do anything." You're like, "No, he did something. What did he do to
It's
my
because I
desk?"
saw him out in the hall, and
I
he
was like,
he said, "Do you hate me yet?" I was like, "What did you do?"
And he's like, I was like, "He didn't do anything." Gavin's like, So he sits down, and then, like, I don't know how long it was, 15, 20 seconds later, he lifts up his keyboard. He's like, "Oh, he's done it." And there's a fucking grape under his keyboard. And I didn't even notice it.
If you'd left it there long enough, you'd have wine.
It's true.
He was doing you a favor.
I was making raisins.
Making raisins.
Flat raisins.
You can't make a raisin if it's squished. They don't squish them before they make raisins.
How do you dehydrate a grape?
How do you dehydrate anything?
That's what I'm asking.
Gets drunk.
How do you do it?
Leave it in the sun?
Yeah.
Oh. Well, what are those, like, dehydrating machines that you can do?
I think
but-
they accelerate the process.
But how
Right.
do they do that?
They
like
take
a-
the water out?
Oh, yeah, it's a good question. Is
Like,
it like
they
a,
spin them round
They
until
probably
they're empty, or what?
heat it up, or like
They
blow hot
spin
air on it.
them
or
around.
something?
I don't know.
how does a dehydrator work? Well, I'm looking that up.
Gavin asked if they spin them round until they're empty.
Like a centrifuge?
Yeah, they separate all the water out.
How does a dehydrator
Did you ever have a
work?
salad spinner?
Yeah, I think I did.
Stupidest thing ever.
What's a salad spinner?
Salad spinner was
put-
my favorite
so
toy as a
it's
child. I
like-
used to put Legos in it.
You like when you make a salad, you wash all the vegetables and shit, right? But it's wet. You want to get the water off of it.
Yeah.
You put it in a salad spinner and you like turn the handle, and through like centrifugal force, all of the water comes out of the sides.
Okay, it
and
just makes a mess everywhere.
yeah, you just do it like
do
in,
it
the
in, like, in the sink.
Yeah.
Okay.
That way it dries all the water off.
This is the most unimpressive, unexciting answer of all time.
right.
A dehydrator works by exposing food to low temperatures of heat for a long period of time. That's it.
It makes it hot.
So
Gavin.
you could do it in your oven, just like turn it on to like 200 degrees.
Or like a barbecue grill or something.
Yeah.
Just basically just kind of cook
Bullshit.
things a little bit. That's dehydrator for you. I guess how they make raisins.
That's very unimpressive.
So we, speaking of high temperatures or low high temperatures, you know, I brought out that thermometer I have the other day,
Low high temperatures.
and
Oh, that was interesting.
The one that you can kind of shoot, like it shoots a laser and you can target it at different things. Chris took it from me and had it all fucking day, measuring temperatures of everything he
He
could.
bugged the shit out of me. He took the temperature of my computer. He took the temperature of my coffee. I was like, get the fuck out of here.
We were doing everyone
The
around
the handle at the annex to open the door in the afternoon when the sun's like over here, it's like the handle's 140 degrees to open that door.
Really?
What's
Yeah.
that?
Open it quick.
Celsius?
See,
Hot.
that's what I was saying the other day on the podcast, was that I wish everything had the sensitivity of my hands. Because my hands are they are equally as sensitive and as insensitive as I want them to be. Like, I can grab something super hot and it's okay. You know?
If you're
Or-
expecting it,
Well, you have that
Yeah.
delay, don't you? You have the like 2 seconds of freedom. Like, if you hold a really hot thing for 2 seconds, it's going to really burn you.
Right.
But you have that 2 seconds to like feel the heat and then put it down.
But like the fine texture in my hands, I can feel the like braille. You can feel braille with your hand, little bumps, and discern what they are. But then likewise, you can take that same hand and grab something hot with it. But if you
Yeah,
like take something a little
yeah.
bit hot and put it on like the back of your neck or on your back or the back of your knee, you'd like freak out
Yeah,
because
or
it's too
your
hot.
lip.
Like you can't adapt. Your other
Yeah.
skin doesn't adapt.
So
as
that's
well.
why
The
you dunk
worst
your-
thing is when you test the shower with your hand, you're like, perfect. You get in, you're like, oh my god! You're like on fire, your fucking flesh is melting off.
I feel like my
Yeah.
knob is not as sensitive either.
Go ahead, please tell us why do you feel that way?
how did you test it?
Like water,
Would you
just get in the
stick it?
shower. Like water that feels hot on my back doesn't feel as hot on my knob.
Okay,
It's because it's wearing a sweater.
specifically your Johnson. Specifically, that doesn't feel as sensitive.
My John Thomas.
It's John Thomas.
You're
Is
John
your,
Thomas.
is your knob now the whole? Is just one part of the knob? The whole knob
The complete unit,
is just
the whole thing.
desensitized.
Yeah, I
you
just
can-
feel like it's not.
Does that
ruined
worry
it.
you? Is that another thing that happened when you turned 23?
Dude, he's getting
But
up
you're
there.
always
bro.
going to test the temperature of water with your elbow, aren't you? Because your hand doesn't detect properly.
elbow?
I don't know. You dunk your elbow in. When you have a baby to put in the bath, you want to test it with your elbow. If it's hot on your elbow, it's hot to the baby. If it's hot on your hand, it might, if it's cool on your hand, it might still be hot for a baby.
Test with your elbow. I've
Gavin's
never heard this
baby
before.
tips, everybody.
I had no idea.
I know that
what
when you
you're
have
talking
a baby, you're supposed to test like the formula on the inside of your arm as opposed to on your
Okay.
hand.
about. Speaking of babies,
Go ahead.
Babies.
so school started again this week, right?
Uh-huh.
My Facebook feed is fucking filled with kids I don't give a shit about on their first day of school.
Delete them. Take
There
them
are
off.
so many. I found something that helps me with this. So there's so many
Call the
fucking
gun.
pictures in my Facebook feed of little kids holding signs saying my fucking first day of first grade. Yay.
That says my fucking
Yeah.
first day. That's a loudmouth. My first fucking day,
I
asshole.
don't give a shit.
So goddamn excited.
There's this plugin for Chrome, for Google Chrome, called unbaby.me. And you can install it into Chrome, and anytime you browse Facebook, it looks for certain keywords, and if there's that keyword's hit, like there's going to be a baby picture, it removes it and puts in an alternate photo from Instagram that you want. So, like, you can choose, like, I want photos of Kate Upton to show up instead of babies.
So you got these people saying, "Oh, she's so cute."
No, it doesn't
and
even
it's
say
Kate Upton.
that. It just says baby removed, and then there's a picture of Kate Upton there.
Baby removed.
It's awesome.
I love this. I love this generation of time that we're in.
Do you think
I
that would
love
work
it.
for like prom photos?
You can set
Baby
whatever
removed.
you want. Yeah, so you can just choose whatever keywords it is. By default, it removes babies.
duck face removed?
By default, it removes babies and adds pictures of cats. But you can customize whatever you want.
That's so much better. It's like,
Are you looking it up?
do you
I
think
am.
there's someone furious about all the baby shit? Like, not actual poop, but the thing that you just said, like, oh, damn babies, and like, finally, now it's all cats. So you think there's a person out there who was like, thank God. Like, every time they see 40,000 pictures of fucking cats,
They're like,
that's
yes.
gonna be the happiest cat lady ever who invented that.
Right, exactly. I'm seeing the exact same thing.
I'm pretty happy anytime I see on my Facebook baby removed. I'm like, yeah.
Another one's wiped off the
won.
face of the internet.
I just don't like that school started because all the fucking traffic came back.
Yeah.
That's what drives me insane,
Kids.
man. Well, it's like, it's that people all now are on the same schedule, essentially. Because people who work, they're like, we'll show up at 9 during the summer. Now it's like, well, the kids all get dropped off at 7:30, so everyone's on the roads at 8 and clogging things up. And also, Austin, where we record the podcast, is a university town. We have one of the biggest universities in the U.S. here, University of Texas. And
It's literally like a town.
It's like
that
52,000
campus. They have their
people.
own, like, garbage trucks with the University of Texas.
they have
on it.
their
a
own
bit
police
much.
department. Yeah.
Do they really?
Yeah.
Do they have the same power as the real police?
Yes, but I had to learn that because you kind of get the feeling they're like
I would be-
security guards, but they're
I would
not.
be mad if I ended up in jail and I was arrested by a university cop.
Yeah.
That'd be bad.
Well, I had one that pointed out that my inspection sticker was inspired.
Inspired.
Inspired into you a
It was
ticket.
expired, and he said, "Hey, your inspection's expired." And I go, "Oh yeah, I keep meaning to, get my car inspected." And he goes, "Well, I'll tell you what, I won't write you a ticket for it now." He was like in the little booth that you have to pull up to get onto campus. He's like in this little traffic booth, And I was supposed to wave me through, and he pointed out that it was expired. He goes, "Well, I won't write you a ticket for it this time." And I go, "Yeah, ticket." And I laughed at the guy. And he goes, "I'm gonna write you a ticket." And he wrote me a goddamn ticket.
Did he really?
I laughed at him. Yeah.
Oh, that's what you get.
That's funny.
He can't do that though, surely.
Yeah, you can.
Sure, it can.
So it's at his discretion.
do they
Yeah,
have their own
sure.
jail at UT?
like that is-
There's a jail on campus.
Some football stadiums have jails.
To hold drunk people. Yeah, the drunk tanks.
I guarantee UT's holds drunk people too. It's probably what they have in there most of the time.
Interesting.
So you
yeah.
laughed at a cop and it totally changed.
You cackled in his face.
I just
Idiot.
yeah.
Oh, shit.
That worked out well for
Have
me.
fun in your booth, moron.
What can you do? Are you allowed to swear at a policeman?
Sure, that's free speech.
That's free speech, yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't think you can do that in England.
You can't threaten a cop, but you could swear at one for sure.
So if
Yeah,
you said
but
you're-
But you have to be careful because you can very easily cross the line into assault, verbal assault.
well, isn't that what assault is? It's verbal.
Oh, well,
Yeah,
assault's
assault's verbal, battery's physical.
Yeah.
But yeah,
People
that's if
always
you
say
threaten a cop.
I've been assaulted.
because they don't know what they're talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like if some cop gave you a ticket and you said, "Thanks a lot, jackass," for the ticket, then he probably can't do anything. He or she could not do anything to you, but
They could find an excuse to give you
thing
another
is-
ticket.
there you go.
But the thing
They're
that you
like,
can do
okay,
is
let's
too,
find
like-
something else here.
The thing that too is like they can't do anything like in the final court of law. Like if you went to court for it, but like you're not gonna be like you can't do that. Like the cop will do whatever the fuck he wants. Like if the guy's a dick, if he wants to be a dick and write you a ticket, he'll write you a ticket. It's like, do you want to go to court?
He'll
to
give
do-
you a ticket?
Yeah, he'll give you a ticket. Do you want to spend your time and money like taking off of work, going to court? It's like I'm gonna pay the $30, and the guy's a prick. They
Did you
get
ever
away with shit
see-
like that.
Did you ever see that video?
But I
There's
love
this-
cops.
There was this high-speed chase, and the guy driving the car, I think it was a racial attack by a load of policemen. It was really bad. So it's a black guy driving a car, and all these cops are chasing him. He rolls his car and, like, flips out the window. Like, you see him just land face
Oh,
down on
yeah.
the ground. And then, like, 7 cops rush in and just start he's unconscious. Just whacking the hell out of him. I bet he woke up thinking, wow, that's a hell of a wreck I was in.
Yeah, I've
but
seen that.
He was
It's
probably absolutely fine. And then he just got his, like, all his bones broken by all these cops.
It's like a video from a helicopter, right?
No, it's a video from one of the police cars that stops.
I've
And he
seen one like that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's crazy.
A Russian guy was driving by and he had a dash cam.
Luckily.
Russian truck. I swear half the videos I see on the internet now are from Russian dash cams. What's the point at which you decide I'm going to buy a dash cam?
When people probably commit like fraud against you or make fake allegations, you're like, all right, fuck it, I need to record everything in my life to disprove other people.
And apparently that happens all the time in Russia, and everyone has a damn dash cam. Because everything that happens
It's great for the dash cam industry.
It really is. LiveLeak.com. They probably love it more than anybody else.
Or the dash cam manufacturers, too.
So we were talking earlier about the Chinese water torture, and I asked how Chinese water torture got the name Chinese. Why was it associated with China?
And I bet it's nothing to do with China, right?
I couldn't see anything online about it, but it reminded me of there was when World War I ended, a big part of it was the end of the conflict and defeating the
Great War.
What's that? The Hun? Yeah. But another part of it too is that one of the things that ended World War I was the fact there was an enormous flu pandemic at the exact same time. Like when you see a lot of the parades, like photos from the parades of the victory and all that, you see a lot of people wearing surgical masks because there was the biggest flu pandemic in modern history. Where how many people died from that?
It was like 6 million.
Like worldwide?
Yeah, I want to say it was that. I want to say it was that high.
Anyway, I'll look at the numbers. But one of the crazy things about it was called the Spanish flu.
Right.
Do you know why it's called the Spanish flu?
No idea.
Okay. You would think it's because it came from Spain, right? It didn't. It didn't come from Spain. It had nothing to do with Spain. The reason it's called the Spanish flu is because when the flu started to take off, all the global news organizations decided to not print information about the flu. The one country that was printing information to tell people what to do about it was Spain. And so all the information about the flu was coming out of Spain, and therefore it was called the Spanish flu.
Did that eventually lead to Spanish fly?
I don't know. But in a weird, it's like the people who are doing the right thing
Get the blame.
They get like a label for now the flu is named after them.
It's like
Who
swine
smelt
flu.
it?
Had nothing to do with pigs.
1918, spreading even to the Arctic and remote Pacific islands, between 50 and 130 million people died.
Wow, that's
Holy
even
shit!
higher than I
That's more
expected.
than 6 million, Gus.
Yeah, making it one of the most, making it one of the deadliest natural disasters in human history.
Were people just pussies back then, or was it like really tough?
Dude, no, we're due for a flu pandemic.
All right, we're due for
Fuck
it.
it.
Bernie's waiting.
I'll fight the flu.
They come around every now and then, man.
How does the flu kill you?
Probably through like,
Dehydration?
drowning through pneumonia or dehydration. Sure.
Drink water, dude. Take
Fuck
that,
it.
flu.
I'll drink the shit out of the water.
Yeah.
Can you just die from fever? Is that something you just?
I think you can if it gets high
Your
enough.
organs just start shutting down.
Yeah.
Cooks
We
your
got
brain.
AC now, okay? 1918 didn't have that.
No, you get fucked up. I got sick a few years ago, and my fever got up to 106.
Nah.
And I remember thinking, oh shit! Like, what's the point at which I need to go to the hospital?
Yeah, probably 106.
Can you just get in icy water and cool down?
It might help temporarily, yeah.
Doesn't.
But yeah, 106.
solve the
I was like,
problem.
probably should be getting in the car, going to the hospital.
Wow.
That's really, really high.
Yeah, and then I was telling my wife, like, I might need to go to the hospital. She's like, no, you don't. I was like,
Wow.
it's 106. It's a pretty high fever.
How many months had she had the insurance policy at that point?
I love that people's I should go to the hospital threshold varies so much.
Yeah.
Like a lot of people I know would be like, straight there. At the first sign of any illness. And I would be the exact opposite, where I'd be waiting until I was like...
You had a fucking stroke and you still haven't gone.
It's true. I should do something about that at some point.
I mean, what can they do? Should they go do an MRI on your head? And
Probably
figure out
check
what-
his brain.
Maybe.
They'll be like, there's an empty cavity in the head where the brain typically goes.
Gavin's actually been clinically dead for years.
The part that's gray is now
You know
black.
you know how the body constantly regenerates cells?
Not my body, but go ahead.
Are there cells in your body that... Because I assume every cell dies and it's replaced with a new
Yes.
cell, like all the time. So you're probably not physically the same person that you were when you were born. You probably regenerated several times over, maybe at different paces. Maybe the bone regenerates slower and stuff.
Right.
But what is the oldest piece of your body that's... Is there a piece of your body that you were born with?
Nerve cells.
Your eyeballs.
Nerve
right?
cells do not regenerate.
Nerve cells.
You can't regrow nerve cells.
But surely they have to grow because we probably have longer ones when you're an adult versus when you're a baby.
Like, I think your eyes, a maximum of 4 years old. Like, the oldest piece of your eye wasn't there 4 years ago.
Really?
I think so. Obviously, it all generates in the exact same formation, but
I've never thought about this
But I'm
before.
pretty sure-
You're blowing my mind.
you're blowing my mind right.
Gus, you're like technically you could be like 5 years old at the oldest.
yeah, I
because it's like I'm 5 years.
I think
He's been in 2 decades.
I think even bone isn't the same bone you were born with. Like even scar tissue, like a scarred, severed piece of bone, that will regenerate still. I'm pretty sure you're not as old as your body.
Gavin, I like your point, but I think we're getting dangerously close to you talking about your penis here. I just feel it coming. I just feel it coming.
That's what she said. Hey.
Guys, you don't need to make the A jokes. Let those lie.
I'm gonna do it.
So wait a second. So you're saying that the oldest thing in your eye, the oldest cell left, is 4
No,
years
I'm just
old.
saying that's in your eye. That's something I read. I can't remember at all.
Well,
I'm
I'll look it
probably
up
wrong.
while Gus is reading the copy. But did you read there was a huge experiment where they just started resetting blood cells? They could take a blood cell, a mature adult cell, and basically reset it because, as you have these iterations of cells remaking themselves, that's what aging is.
Yeah.
Is it just can't do it as well, and so
You get
eventually-
wrinkly.
You get wrinkly and
You get-
shitty
you get
after a while.
haggard.
It's
Yeah.
like taping over VHS tape over and over
Yeah.
again.
So they reset a red blood cell?
to stem cell level. Like they took an adult one and set it back. So if you could turn back the clock and all this, what if you could slowly unage over the course of however long it takes your body to regenerate new cells?
Yeah.
Like I want to put some parts would be shitty. Like some parts of your body would be bad because they don't regenerate
But
as
don't your
fast.
cells divide sometimes? Would they be merging back together?
Do you really
Reverse
not know? Do
mitosis.
you really not know if cells divide? Do you
Which
not-
cells divide?
No, go on.
What are you talking about? Do they do they not teach any level of science in the UK?
Mitosis, where does that happen?
Where does it happen?
Does it happen in humans?
Sometimes.
Bernie's crying again.
I'm trying not to look at you. I'm trying to hold my shit together.
Gus is just staring at the table.
No, if you're talking about de-aging a cell, wouldn't you have to merge it back with its other half or something? No? Alright,
Okay, so you can.
alright.
You can.
Everyone calm down. See if you can set
Let's
those
just say
tears back
this.
into your eyes, Bernie.
Does this happen in humans? So let's say. Okay, what should be the copy? The short answer is yes, cells divide.
Yes.
And yes, they do
You
it.
essentially started from 2 half cells to
Yeah.
make what you are now.
Right.
That divided over and over and over again. You've never seen it's in all the fucking documentaries about sex.
It's in everything about everything.
Yeah. It's always you see the 1 cell that becomes 2, then 4, and it's like a giant massive cell. It was in the fucking movie Species. Remember they fucking inject the thing and
Oh, yeah, I've seen it in
If
bacteria
they
and stuff.
write an article about science, that's the picture. It's cell dividing. That's it.
Well, I know it was in, bacteria.
It was in animals and stuff.
or
right? I knew
enzymes
that.
or something.
Not humans.
I thought it might be plants, alright? I thought it was-
Wait, do we have those?
It's in animals, but not humans.
Is it in plants?
What's that?
what?
Does it happen in plants?
I don't know nearly as much about plants. I assume yes, that cell division also happens in plants though.
What do you think? Like every organism is one gigantic cell.
I imagine a leaf starts out as a microscopic version of itself and
It gets bigger.
That's why you water plants. They get bigger. It's like the fucking dinosaurs you buy that are made out of foam and you put them in water. and they
Just swell up.
Oh man.
So where's that coming from? They say you can't destroy. Just read that.
No, go on. We can't destroy what?
You can't destroy anything, right? You can only change the way it is. Matter can't be destroyed. You just change its form.
It's a pretty fundamental level. You're talking
Yeah.
about the atomic level, yeah. You
Yeah.
can't get rid of stuff. You just change it. Everything is matter or energy, and you when you have one side of the equation, the other side of the equation has to balance out. There's nothing lost
There's
in the
no way.
process.
There will always be as much stuff in the universe as there is right now. Is
That's
that what you're saying?
correct.
Unless it all goes down a black hole.
Yeah, but
No.
what about black holes?
Nope. What do you mean? What about it?
Where does it go when it
That's
goes in a black hole? Does
It
it
just
just compress
condenses.
it?
It dispenses. Yeah, it's a denser matter.
But what about a supermassive black hole?
What does that mean? What does that
shut up.
mean? What does that mean?
Supermassive black hole. It's what a galaxy rotates around.
Okay, so if something falls in that, it just
It's
becomes
still a black hole. It's just bigger.
But okay.
It's like
there's no exception to this. This is one of the fundamental rules of the universe.
The look on Gavin's face is priceless.
He's trying to come up with an exception.
He was staring at the ceiling, his head cocked like a dog. That when you tell him something, he's just like, "What? I don't speak human."
it
and
blows
his
my
mouth
mind,
was
though,
hanging open.
that
I
since the
think you're
beginning of
confusing
time-
the term lost or destroyed with unable to retrieve. That's not the same
Okay.
thing.
But has there always been the same amount of stuff? What's the smallest thing we know of? An atom? Or a
Yeah,
a
subatomic particles, yeah.
Has there always been that many?
Has there always been a what?
The Quims.
Yes, Quims have always existed.
What's the tiny thing?
Quark.
Actually, I need to recategorize this podcast into the science or educational
A
section.
quim is a vagina.
Okay, we gotta get off the science. How do we get on science every week with Gavin?
Here, I'll
Gavin
I'll
just
distract us
sits
from
and
science.
ponders things.
This episode of the Rooster Teeth Podcast is also brought to you by Hover.com. Hover provides simple, clean domain and email management tools. All domain names come with Whois Privacy. That way your personal information isn't publicly available. Unlimited domain forwarding and advanced DNS management. Hover only suggests services or products they feel will be helpful to your domain or email experience. So they don't do hosting, but they can refer you to other places. They offer 25 TLDs, or top-level domains, including popular ones like .com, .net, .co, .ca, .org. They have a no-hold policy for customer service calls. If you call them between 9 a.m. and 8 p.m., the phone's picked up within 6 rings. You do not get put on hold. So you can visit Hover today at hover.com/roosterteeth. If you need to get a domain, use offer code roosterteeth and get 10% off. That's hover.com/roosterteeth. And we thank Hover for their support. I actually transferred some of my domains to Hover over the weekend.
I like that
to test them out.
You use all these things that sponsor us. It's awesome.
Well, I want to know about them. I
Yeah.
want to be able to talk about
You
them.
don't want to blindly promote stuff.
Yeah, and I want to make sure that it's quality
Is
stuff.
it possible to buy? You know how some like country-specific websites, like Italy, will end in .it. Can you buy that if you're not in Italy?
Sometimes, yeah. It depends on whether or not, on the policies that the country has.
Yep.
But yeah. In fact, I can look here on the list. I'm looking on hover.com. You can buy .it, .asia, .es, .us, .de.
There was one that had a particularly lucrative one in general, and I forget what it was.
It was like .to or .tv, like one of those islands in the
.tv.
Pacific.
You got it. .tv.
Tuvalu is the island chain, I believe.
Just by its abbreviation, just had a meaning. So it's like those domains were valuable. And they opened. I remember when, it was in the '90s, and they opened it up to everybody to register them.
Yeah, I think that country, Tuvalu or whatever it is, they sold the rights to the domain to an investment group in the U.S. I think they sold it for several $1 million. And then that group just turned around and started selling domains based on that.
Gavin, I'm sorry to tell you that Quim.com is taken. So.
Is that with one M or two M's?
Oh, it's with one. According to Hover.com.
But yeah, I just transferred my stuff there. It was really super easy. I think my domain was the one I did as a test was transferred like in less than 2 hours from that old registrar we used to use.
Well, did you transfer Rooster Teeth domains?
No, one of my personal ones.
Okay, good. Because I don't like. I mean, I'm sure the service is great, but I don't want people knowing where our domains
No,
are
yeah,
registered.
exactly. That's why I'm not. It was just a personal one, and it was only $10 to transfer it, and that was for a year service.
No, $10. $10 transfer it, and then for a year.
And then it renews for a year. Normal price is $15 a year for registration, and it automatically gives you Whois Privacy.
You know, this is kind of an old school internet thing too, because Gus and I have been doing this for a while. Gavin and Michael, you guys not quite as long. Do you guys have any registered domain names?
Yes.
Oh, you do.
TheSlowMoGuys.com.
TheSlowMoGuys.com. And then what do you do with that site?
It just redirects to YouTube. Don't use it.
Directly to YouTube. Okay.
Do you own any domains, Michael?
I don't.
How many do you think you own?
I
Gus.
think I own like 22. I want to say.
I probably own 15 to 20
Jesus.
domain names.
When I'm going to fucking
It's
date myself
expensive.
here. When I started buying them, back then the only place you could buy them from was Network Solutions, and it was $70 a year to get a fucking domain.
Yep. We know a guy
They're cheap as hell now.
who
aren't they?
bought a website. He bought a domain. He bought it for $3,000, and he sold it. The domain name he sold it for $130,000.
Holy shit.
Yep.
Jeez.
I think it's okay to say what the domain
Did
name
he
is.
buy it?
I don't know. I don't know if it's still in the same hands or
Right.
what's going on with that.
Did
It's a guy we know. We play poker with him. He did this just one day. He bought a website
Did he
and
buy it to do anything with it, or
Nope.
thought it'd be worth money one day? and
he
to-
just
to sell
recognized
it?
the domain name was
Oh,
worth
yeah?
a lot of money.
Didn't you guys once buy a Final Fantasy related one that you sold?
Yep. Sold for a couple G's.
Nice.
Yeah.
What was it?
It was ffxi.com.
So you just thought, well,
You
that
bought
will be a
fucking-
game one day.
It was
You
like
bought
when
FinalFantasy11.com?
It was when Final Fantasy VIII came out. I was like, oh, I wonder if the other ones are bought. And like 9, Square owns it. 10, Square owns it. Oh, no one owns 11. Buy it.
That's fucking funny. I
did.
didn't know
You should have
that.
kept it longer.
He bought it a long time ago.
Yeah, I bought it. Yeah, I bought it like right after 8 came out.
What
It
you
was
really want to do
99.
is buy a domain that Apple will need in the future.
No, because then they'll just fucking sue you and take it from you.
Yeah.
You know, it's really crazy when you do forward-thinking stuff like that. There's something I wish I had done because I travel a lot. There was a point in time when you could join the Admirals Club on American Airlines, and you could pay $5,000 for your lifetime.
Oh, that would be definitely worth it.
And it was especially if you're younger, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
you're 23, it's, you know.
There was a story on Reddit.
already 23.
Again, on my Reddit for material. A few weeks ago, I guess back in the early 80s, American Airlines sold something they called the Air Pass.
Apparently they still sell them to this day. They're just ridiculously expensive.
Right, and you could buy it, and then you could fly first class with a companion for free for the rest of your life.
It's, yeah.
You could just show up at the airport and be like, I've got the Air Pass, I'm getting on the plane, and just get on the plane.
Well, how do you get the air pass?
Like, you would have to buy it. Back then, in the early 80s, I think it was like $1 million.
I want to say it was $250,000. It was that low.
Yeah,
I'll look up the story.
They were in financial trouble. They needed to raise some money quickly.
So does
Holy
that last
shit.
forever? Surely
Yeah.
you can't have something that lasts a lifetime.
No,
Yeah, you can.
What if the company changes hands and stuff
They're
like that?
regretting it. In fact, that's what the article was about. Is they started denying services to some people because like there was one guy who would fly to Europe like multiple times a week from the U.S.
I would. I'd be all over the gaff.
One of the guys in the article, he was going to London for the 8th time this month.
Holy shit!
Yeah.
It's probably just commuting.
One of the other guys like lived in Chicago, and like he said he would like read about a museum or something in Paris. He'd be like, "All right, I'm gonna go pick up my friend in San Francisco. We're gonna fly to Europe."
Holy fuck!
It's like, that'd be the best thing ever.
First
Yeah, that would be
class.
pretty cool.
Going to read start part of an article here from Time.com. In the early 1980s, American Airlines started selling the Air Pass, which granted the holder unlimited first-class travel with the carrier for life. At first, the pass cost $250,000, which sounds like a lot of money, but it's a bargain considering the pass holders have been known to take $125,000 worth of flights in less than 1 month's time.
Whoa! Holy
So
shit!
they've made their money back in 2 months.
Well, they didn't really make it back.
Well,
They've got their money's worth.
Yeah.
That is crazy.
You could, for business
I would
purposes,
just
you can
start-
make it back.
Yeah.
Pass prices have raised over time to $600K in 1990 and up over $1 million by 1993. The pass was discontinued soon thereafter, but then made a brief reappearance in 2004. That's what I thought it was. It's not for sale anymore. When it was available via the Neiman Marcus catalog for $3 million.
Wow.
Not one person bought it.
So
Somebody should have.
someone who's alive now still using it could have spent $250,000 on it back in the 80s.
Yeah.
That's cool. I want to know a guy. I want to know that. Who are these people? Where are they?
They're in the air right now, probably. They're like,
Just
on
like
a
hanging
plane.
out.
Like one of the complaints I think that the airline had was since they had this free ticket essentially that they would make reservations constantly and then just not get on them.
Oh, that
That's
sucks.
awesome. Imagine that.
That's awesome.
Just booking up 2 first class and be like, nah.
I'll take the next one.
Oh, I'll go after lunch.
This is a really good
But you're
sandwich.
eating lunch like, I wonder if I can get a sandwich in San Francisco. Just drive to the airport. You're like, all right, let's go.
You could just, I mean, yeah, you could show up. You could show up in the mornings like, what am I doing Saturday? And then you drive to the airport, but where do I want to go?
Or just like, what's the next plane leaving?
Yeah.
That one.
Yeah, I want to. Where can I go where I don't have to wait at all?
I can't think of anything more useful than that. I would be everywhere. Constantly.
Yeah, there was they said, this is kind of strange, a few years ago the airline went so far as to start investigating customers who take the most advantage of their passes for fraud, eager for any reason to cancel their passes and stop the flight free-for-all. So they were still selling it, I guess, but they were investigating their high-usage customers for fraud.
What? How would you
Make
do
sure
fraud?
that someone else wasn't traveling on it.
What? And you hadn't sold it.
There was one guy who, within the bounds of, I guess, the terms of agreement, he was shuttling a well-to-do couple back and forth to London. Like, he would take one of them at a time, and that's as his companion. And he did that for years, and they paid him to do it.
That's crazy.
He just shuttled them back and
Like,
forth.
I guess considerably cheaper.
I
than
guess
the
so.
flight.
I
Yeah.
think
But then you don't have to fly with your wife.
Yeah, that's true too.
Pay some other dude to do
He
it.
paid the guy twice as much as the ticket.
He's like, hell yeah.
Can you imagine? Like, can you imagine it being the end of the day? You could be like, I could drive home and go to bed, or I could go on a plane and sleep
I
comfortably.
thought you were going to say, or I could fly home.
But you could just, instead of sleeping in your bed, you just sleep on the first class bed, basically, on a plane,
Yeah.
and you wake up somewhere completely different.
Yeah.
I would do that every night. I would not sleep at home. I would sleep exclusively on planes.
You'd also
That'd
not
be
have a
crazy.
job.
It'd be awesome. You'd wake up in a different country every day.
Yeah, what would you do for work, though? Feeling yourself sleeping in
He's the
slow
guy.
motion?
He's the guy that flies around the world every day. Where's my money?
I'm going to try to find out, like, an inflation calculator here, how much $250,000 would be worth today in 1980.
And whether it's worth more than $3 million.
Yeah, it's got to be less than that, though.
No, it can't be. There's no way we've had 10 times inflation in
Based on-
30 years.
So people-
Freaking house prices.
People
you'd think
probably
that.
were saving up and buying their own planes when they could have just been buying these tickets.
Oh yeah, and you fly commercial for first class anyway. You fly first class international.
And
That's
you said
crazy.
that if you buy your own jet, you're losing money. It's not
Well,
money
you have to
efficient.
pay for fuel
Yeah.
on top of the
And
jet
maintenance.
costs.
Well, I was talking to Gavin about getting a pilot's license, and we had a discussion about this last week. But there's no point at which personal aviation is ever cheaper than commercial.
No.
It's purely convenience.
But there is a sense of
fun.
convenience of like you don't have to spend an hour in the airport. Like you don't have to go through security if you have your own plane.
Right.
So are you allowed to take a bomb on your own plane?
Take a bomb?
What?
Probably not. But they probably don't check to see if you're taking a bomb. How about that? All right, so $250,000. Enter the initial year 1980. Enter the final year 2010. That's how this thing goes.
So over 30 years is what we're looking at.
The cost of $250,000 in 1980 would be $650,000 in 2010.
Wow. Really? Not a lot at all.
Not bad. I mean, I don't have $650,000 to spend on it, but
Let
Don't
me
you
ask you
guys-
this.
it's not $1 million.
First class.
If they said that today, here's this pass. It's $650,000. You can buy it today because that's what it was offered for back in 1980. $650,000 essentially. Would you take out a
Yes.
loan to do it? You would take out a loan.
Yes.
That's like
Could you take out a mortgage?
yeah, you
Like,
have
I'll take out
to.
a mortgage to pay for this ticket.
That's like $4,000 a month for 30 years, amortized over that.
$4,000 a month for 30 years.
So like 2 flights a month.
I would absolutely do that.
You would?
Yeah,
I don't know, man.
I would.
I would absolutely not.
For a companion pass, though, too, though. Is the companion part of it? I think you had to add on for the companion.
Oh, it was a little extra, yeah.
Yeah. Yikes.
Couple
think-
extra 100,000.
I think it was like $250. Like the first price was, I think it was $250 for the pass, and then $100 if you want to add the companion.
JetBlue does something like this, too. And they do it on a regular basis.
Oh, right.
Where you can fly for like $800.
I think Jack did this
Yeah,
recently.
you can fly anywhere in the world, or anywhere that JetBlue flies, which is domestic U.S. You can just get on a plane and go, and it's like $800 for 30 days. You can do that.
Yeah, they do it. I think they did it last summer. I don't think they did it this year though.
Wait. 30 days you can go anywhere.
Yeah,
All you can fly.
Oh, shit.
in the
pretty
U.S.
cool.
I think Jack did it, and he took like 2 flights.
Yeah.
That was it.
That's like Jack going to Five Guys and getting ketchup and cheese.
What?
Five Guys burgers. It's like you pay for the burger, right? And they have like 47,000 toppings, and it's like they have everything. It's like the craziest place you can get toppings on your burgers. And Jack goes and gets ketchup and cheese because it's all he gets on his burgers. So it's like buy the unlimited pass and fly. Like he probably flew to Dallas too.
It's so frustrating.
If
It is-
Jack was a flavour of crisps,
Yeah.
he would be ready sorted.
He wouldn't even be salted. He would just be chip.
Or just plain
He'd just be crisp.
flavour.
You know who's even worse, honestly, than Jack about that kind of stuff? Who? Carrie.
Is he really?
Carrie will like pick the salt off of saltines because it's too much flavor. It's just
Is that a true story, or are you just making an exaggeration?
it's just an example that I use, but Carrie will not eat anything. He's like a child. It's like nope.
Well,
it's
he
got
is like
mustard
a
on it.
child.
Yeah, it's like mustard. Nope, he won't touch it. He's probably as old as. Is he as old as you, Carrie?
No,
Carrie's
he,
tw-
he
Carrie's
just, he just
21.
turned 21.
Oh, that's right. Okay. Yeah, I don't know what that is. I got 2 kids. They don't
It's
fucking,
when-
they
it's
don't
21
fucking
years of
eat
age.
anything. I make them goddamn mac and cheese. It's like eat the mac and cheese. Like nope. I don't
think-
like. I don't like this particular kind of mac and cheese.
I think when I have a kid, I'm not going to be strict about much, but I will force them to eat stuff.
Yes.
I'll be like, I made this. You will eat this.
You're never
Open
make
your
anything.
gob, and I'll just shove it
Open
down.
your gob.
Gavin-
I actually ordered them pizza because I thought it'd be easy the other day. They were like, "Oh, we don't." One of the kids didn't like this kind of
So
pizza.
pull
It's
all
like,
the toppings off.
It's fucking pizza. No, he didn't like that from Domino's or whatever. Like he likes to get it from Papa John's. He's like,
Oh,
I
God.
just don't like Domino's pizza. I'm like, you're gonna fucking eat. It's like, you just look at me in the eye, you're like, you listen to me. It's my job that you don't fucking starve to death. Eat the goddamn pizza.
I was watching Breaking Bad, an old episode of Breaking Bad over the weekend, and they were making grilled cheese sandwiches. I was like, I haven't had a fucking grilled cheese sandwich since I was a kid. I paused it, went to my kitchen, made myself the best grilled cheese sandwich in the world. I was like,
I know how to make
it's like,
it
I
now.
can make the shit out of this as an adult.
I think it's something to do with cheese.
I remember this was a lot harder last time I did this. Couldn't
The smoke alarm didn't go off.
quite reach the stove.
I remember always watching Tom and Jerry as a kid, and I always used to have to pause it and go and get cheese because I just got the craving. It's like damn good. Sat on that mousetrap, I was like, oh,
Jeez.
could do with a bit of cheddar right now.
You're lucky too. I wouldn't want to say in a publicly broadcast podcast that you were watching Breaking Bad, so you paused it to go cook something. Inspired by watching Breaking Bad.
Man, I'm watching.
Grilled
Watch out
cheese,
well
huh?
before.
I
so-
restarted from the beginning of the season. I'm towards the end of season 3 now while I'm watching the new season at the same time. I have not seen this week's episode yet. Hopefully I'll see it today.
I wonder. I haven't seen it either, but I downloaded it. I wonder if you could, like, from the bits and pieces that they've said on Breaking Bad, if you could actually get a recipe for making meth.
I don't think
I would
so.
imagine
They're
not.
They're never specific about ingredients.
They
Well,
did.
there was.
They'll
That was
like name one or two chemicals, but that's
What-
it.
Yeah, but it's
Pseudo.
at different times, though, right?
Pseudoephedrine.
Is that what that is?
Yeah.
I didn't know what that was.
It's so annoying, Gavin. You don't take medicine, but I can tell you that in this country, if you want to get certain kinds of like
Yeah.
allergy medication
Just
or
cough syrup.
yeah, you gotta go to the pharmacy and like they check your ID and you gotta register because people will buy it in mass quantities and use it to make meth.
Yeah,
like-
when I hadn't bought cold medicine in a long time, and I went a couple months ago to buy some, and like I went to the allergy aisle or the medicine aisle, and there was like a little card you pick up for some medicine with pseudoephedrine in it, and I had to take it to the fucking pharmacist. I was like, "Can I buy this?" Like, "Oh, we need to see your ID." I was like, "What?" Like, we need to scan it into the computer. I was like, "Can't you just sell me one box of this?"
It's fucking Advil.
Yeah, I want my nose to be clear. You can hear. I have a stuffy nose
I
right
like, I like the
now.
places they're looking at you. You're like, yeah, you need this. You're gonna cook drugs. Like now you're like,
Yeah, the guy even said, "You're not going to make meth with this, are you?" I was like, "Are you being serious?"
yeah.
Gavin,
like-
with that nose, you could be like the biggest supplier ever. Like you're going to go, look, I need like 40 boxes of this shit.
I need to get this. I need to get this puppy back to regular size. Just shrink this bad boy down.
But that's really annoying.
Meth making is ruining people who have colds' lives.
Yes.
They can't get enough medicine because now they're being
Well,
turned away.
That's the worst thing
I love
about.
the seriousness of the statement.
Yeah, it's
worst
terrible.
Thing, the worst thing about anything that someone bad does is the inconvenience that it causes for the people who want to do it properly. It's
Yeah.
like the whole of getting on a plane. It's just taking my shoes off, ruined because of one incident where someone had a shoe bomb, and now someone had a liquid bomb, and now you can't have liquids.
What is the worst thing like that, do you think?
I think they just do it for inconvenience.
Right. Well, it's a theater. You know, it's a theater of security. If you want to, you're in a plane with people. You know, if I want to kill somebody, I just like cross a double yellow line and ram myself into traffic if I want to.
Yeah, but
you know?
that wouldn't kill as many people.
It wouldn't kill as many people. But you know, it's also why are terrorists so goddamn fascinated with air travel? I've never understood that. Why air travel?
Because a plane is a flying bomb. Isn't it?
It's a sign of like economic power and the way business is done.
Yeah?
Traveling, I would assume.
I could see that.
I mean, not to give anybody ideas or anything, but there's a lot of people in tighter areas.
People are
than
taking
that.
out like notepads now, so be careful.
I know, right?
I'm always nervous about sporting events, honestly.
It's me too. Yeah.
I was
Thanks, Christopher Nolan. Fucking hit Gus right at his heartstrings.
Yeah, I was
He was like, no.
that could have been me.
I was worried.
Remember when I sang the
I could have been ignored for the last half of the movie too.
Such a lovely voice.
I remember I was here when Obama was being inaugurated, and we were watching him give a speech on TV, a load of people everywhere.
Yeah.
And I was kind of didn't want to watch it. I thought he'd be sniped or something. I thought someone would try and assassinate him during that speech.
You know what's really crazy is that when I was growing up, I wasn't born in the 60s, but I grew up in like the couple decades after the 60s. I grew up in the late 70s, and there was a time period in America where people just got shot, you know, and that was right before I was born, so it was not a big deal.
Well, like big people.
Yeah, like Kennedy got shot, Malcolm X got shot, Martin Luther King got shot.
Two Kennedys got shot.
Two Kennedys got shot.
Have you ever
George
watched-
Wallace got shot.
Yeah.
John Lennon got shot.
Reagan?
Yeah,
got
Reagan got
shot.
shot. It was just like, if
Who
you're
was the
president,
guy-
you're probably going to get shot at.
Yeah.
Who was the guy that got shot through the handkerchief?
Shot through the handkerchief.
Like the
Did he have a handkerchief?
Yeah.
Or did
What are you
the
talking about?
assassin have a handkerchief?
the guy came up to the person who died with a handkerchief in his hand. And,
Okay.
like put it out, like outstretched to shake his hand, but there was a gun under it, and he shot him. And all
just
the-
sounds like a regular
and the
shooting to me.
The security guards were like, "Oh, we just thought you had a handkerchief."
We didn't think the handkerchief was loaded.
I like
It's
if the
some pretty
guards,
deadly boogers.
if the guards afterwards couldn't figure out what it happened. But the guy just had a handkerchief.
Have you ever seen?
Dude, he's a magician.
Have you ever seen that the JFK shooting footage, but rescanned in HD and stabilized?
No.
It's weird. There's something wrong with it.
What's wrong
It
with it?
just doesn't look right.
The fact that it's been rescanned and up converted
Well, no, but like-
to HD.
the
Yeah, I bet there's something wrong with it.
But obviously, the original footage is like crap. It's probably 8 mil, and it's like all like
Yeah.
this.
The Zapruder film.
Yeah, exactly. And
You have no idea.
no, yeah,
That's the name of
it
the
is.
guy.
That's the
Yeah,
guy.
just so you know.
I know.
Okay.
And so basically, you've got this big image. It's like full HD image, and the actual picture is like a small box within that image, and it's moving all around because it's been stabilized.
Right.
But just the physics of the car when he gets shot, the car takes off, accelerates, but everyone in the car like jolts forward as though the car braked. It just looks wrong. It looks like it's been screwed with in some way. But that's all conspiracy stuff, isn't it? It's just really weird. Have you ever
I
seen
don't
it?
think there's- I don't think there's a
I
single-
don't- I don't think
I
there's-
don't think there's a fucking single conspirator out there who thinks there was a speed bump in front of them.
I've never heard this argument before. Kevin's like, we got to check which direction they were driving in.
Clearly, by watching the film, you can see he wasn't shot. They just backed into the bullets. And then reversed the footage.
You fucking weirdo.
What?
Who the fuck cares about that? The physics on the car are weird. Maybe they patched it. I don't know.
Have you ever? It's obviously a
It's
CG
just
car.
really interesting to see that because it's famous footage.
Bernie.
Sorry, I went to cross my legs and yanked
It's
my
just
headphones.
famous shaky cam footage. It's just interesting to see it modern day stabilized and how it could easily have been messed with and nobody would have noticed because it was so shaky.
God
It's
damn.
cool. It's interesting. Watch it.
All right, I'll have to check it out. One of the many things that I'll have to watch after this. You okay over there?
Yeah, I rolled over my
yeah.
headphone cord with a office chair wheel, and it's like, forget it, just grab
What the
it.
hell is that thing over there?
It's not part of it. That's like a little balance board where it's like you just balance on it.
It reminds me of those toys from the 80s that had like the ball in the middle, and you would have to like
Yeah,
put
you
your feet
jump on
around
it.
it and you jump and bounce. Yeah, just like that.
Yeah, well, you stand out in balance.
That was a
good for your
that was
core.
a Nintendo accessory.
Oh yeah,
For a Nintendo.
Helps your core.
You could fucking that replaced the D-pad.
that's right.
You could, yeah, you could like lean up and you go up, but you still had to fucking plug the controller and hold it on and to the controller because you had to use the A and B button. So you'd stand on that and balance, and that's how you would move your guy.
That sounds like a good thing, actually.
Yeah, it sucked in most games. I'd rather just push right in Mario, not lean right on a fucking balance board.
well, that's
Yeah.
the point. It's supposed to be good for the kids who are sitting on their ass all day.
I don't. It was good for Nintendo to sell shit.
Yeah, they sold a lot of shit like that. Like that was just totally
They still
pointless. Like
do.
the fucking robot, the power glove. Like
Are you going to make
It's
fun of the
bad.
robot? The guy who went on eBay and bought one of the robots
Yeah.
20 years after it came
because
out?
it's kitschy cool, but it wasn't functional at the time.
No.
True.
Yeah.
Well,
Okay.
it was kitschy cool at the time.
They only made like 2 games for the fucking robot. The story is, I think, that they wanted to try to sell it as a toy and not they wouldn't want people to think it was a video game system because I think there was like a negative connotation about video games. So they made this fucking robot and 2 games for it.
All right, what are you swearing about? You're so excited about the
Because
robot.
they didn't do anything with it.
Well, don't let it go. There's lots of peripherals for games that don't do anything
Gus
with
is
it.
mad this podcast. Gavin, you've struck a chord.
Gus-
with your stupidity.
No, it's not as bad as he was last week. Last
Gus-
week it was like fuming.
You
Yeah.
bought a $250 controller to play one mech game
Yes.
on the Xbox.
It came with the game, technically.
Right.
And there was a sequel.
Was there?
Yes.
I had a friend who had that thing.
there was a Steel
done, yeah.
Battalion, and then the sequel was Steel Battalion Line of Contact.
Okay.
I would always eject him from his mech.
God, I would fucking strangle you.
He'd be like 50 minutes into a mission, then I'd just flip up this thing and just go, and you just go.
In
shoot
that
up out
game,
the
if
mech.
your guy dies or you eject, you lose your whole character,
if
right?
you
don't
die,
eject.
it erases your save game. If you eject, then you're still alive and you can retry
And
the
what's the
mission.
window you have for ejecting? How many?
It's really short. It depends
it?
on the damage
So
on
you're
your
like,
mech. And there's like a little cover you have to like. You probably know. You have to like open it and then arm the
I'd
eject.
always like flip up his thing and just go.
Did you make that noise too?
No.
The thing-
No, you
there,
suck.
I didn't know about booping back then.
No?
No.
there was even a switch for the windshield wipers on the mech. So if your windshield got dirty, you had to use the wipers.
How
to
big
clean
was
them.
this controller?
It was like this wide.
Holy shit!
He's,
And
doing,
then it
he's
came-
doing about 4
No, it was-
feet
Yeah,
wide.
and it came with pedals. Like there was like a
It was serious, but
there
it
was
was
a
on a
gas
table.
pedal, a brake pedal, and a clutch because you had to shift gears
that
too.
sounds fucking cool as fuck.
No. No.
Yeah, that sounds awesome.
It's awesome.
Was it awesome?
Yeah, it was.
You have to have it on a table.
Who
Yeah.
gives a shit? I didn't say it was functional or it was practical.
Yeah,
so
you-
mad about this.
you
Everyone's so
wouldn't need-
mad about the controller.
You wouldn't need a
Dude.
coffee table, but it was awesome.
Yeah, but I don't give a shit if I'm going to Gus's house to play it.
Yeah.
That doesn't take away from its coolness. It takes away from its practicability.
I don't think we have the same.
Practicability.
Yeah.
I don't think we have the same
Practicality?
level of what cool is.
What is your level?
I have to. If it's cool, it can't stop me from getting laid.
You're an idiot.
Really?
Yeah.
How's that nose working out for you with the cool? Does it affect you when you go to make out with a girl, your nose? I don't know how we got on
I
your
don't know
nose
because
today.
I've never made out with anyone without my nose, so I'm not sure. I only know how to make out with this nose.
Well, you knew. You could have a detachable nose. That'd be great.
Just like flip it up.
Just, we're talking about your nose a bunch today. I never think of your nose. When I see you, I don't think
I
Gavin
think the
has
only
a
reason we're
big
talking about it
nose.
is he brought it up.
He
What
did
did you
bring it
say?
up.
Yo, the
He
fucking
got-
I was just
soda
Dr.
can thing.
Pepper and I went plink. I don't know. I just it's just massive compared to everyone
Yeah,
else.
you do have a big
You're
nose.
right.
but
It is.
I don't
We've all accepted it and moved on.
Yeah,
So-
we don't ever talk about it or make fun of it until this podcast.
So if you look at me, Bernie,
Yeah.
what is the first thing you notice about my appearance?
I hate your stupid hair. I think I hate your hair and your girl's body. You have a woman's body.
I like your hair.
What's womanly about this?
What's that? You're very slight. You're very slight.
I'm just skinny.
But then you take off your shirt and you're just like a bear rug.
Yeah, he is. Gavin is like Robin Williams. All right, maybe not that much, but close.
Yeah.
It's pretty dense.
See, it's just like I just want to hit your face.
Why?
It's just like
Are you like Jack?
No,
Are you Jack this week?
No, I'm not. But
Oh.
I'm serious. Like I've said this to Gavin before. His face is like it's okay when he's not pissing me off, but when he's pissing me off, like I want to punch him so much more than like
it's
if
that-
you piss me off the same way, I'd be like,
It's that smug British
he's
face.
smug as shit.
I got a pretty good streak of him making Michael mad as well. Michael gets mad at me. Like he got mad at me earlier about the what was it? The thing, the burp sound. I could see the glare in his eye. I got the look. That wasn't me. I was burping. I was just talking.
I was, just trying to say. I was just talking.
But I'm now disappointed because I thought we were going to make it to a whole goddamn podcast and not talk about somebody wanting to hit Gavin.
It's been like 4 in a row now.
I
What
didn't
is
say.
that?
I didn't say. Well,
It's always Jack, though.
I'm not saying
no one
like-
else wants to hit
I'm not
you.
saying I want to hit him. You specifically
He just said
it.
You did.
But you said like describe what his face says. I'm just saying his face says hit me. I don't actually want to hit Gavin. His face is like punch me. He's got a fucking very douchebag face.
Feed me dicks.
Yeah, right?
Gavin, I have nothing but love for you.
No,
I never
fuck
thought
that.
about hitting you, except when you're drunk, and I actually did hit you. I didn't want to do it.
Did you see at Fan Expo, Jay or Dan
I'm
made
really
a
sorry
drawing
about that.
of you riding Bernie?
Yeah, he didn't draw the feather boa though.
That's true.
I was disappointed. So apparently he was even given a pink pen. He just didn't draw it on.
Yep, didn't think about it. Fucking asshole.
That is one of the few things, Bernie, that I feel bad about doing, and is that VidCon trip.
I hear you,
Because I had a smashing time. I was having a blast.
but that's just guilt you have over being like ridiculously drunk. I totally get that, and you were fine. It was just like I had enough.
It was all, well. The fucked up thing about that story was you all had just come back from Australia, so
And also-
your time zones were way off. So this was like a fucking 3 or 4 in the morning.
And I had the subconscious rage of having my end bumped into the urinal. So it was subconscious feedback.
Subconscious rage.
I was trying to get him back for something, and somehow.
You didn't know what,
Yeah.
but
I was like,
it was there in the,
I'm
in
like
the dark
punching
recesses
him and
of your
like
mind.
tackling him in the legs, and a part of me is thinking, this feels right. I don't know why.
You should be the whole time. You're like, do you need to go to the bathroom, Bernie?
Gavin gets really fighty when he's drunk.
Yeah.
I do. I get wrestly, but
He gets wrestly. It's true. Grapply.
I have a lot of. I have to deal with a lot of like sticky desk and like occasional punches, and people telling me they want to hit me all the time. That I think subconsciously it builds up, and when I'm drunk, I get a little release of that.
Boils over.
Yeah, and it just reduces my bar back to an acceptable amount.
No, but I don't know how it does because you barely remember it though. The next day,
Okay, well, yeah.
you just wake up and you know your bar has been reset,
Wouldn't it be
but you're
bad
not sure how.
if you got revenge on someone and then forgot? I guess that was the plot of that Memento movie.
I
wasn't it?
just saw Memento, and they said that like he could get revenge and not remember.
like
it.
he'd already killed the guy,
Well, you're spoiling the end of the movie, but yeah, okay.
and he kept just killing guys.
It's the beginning.
He kept,
Right.
he kept convincing himself that this was the guy, kill him, and then he would go and kill another guy.
Right.
He was just a serial killer.
But then they kind of resolved all that by the end of the movie.
Did
right?
they?
There was a guy using him in it. Yeah, but it's a good movie. You should go see it if you haven't seen it.
Well, not now because you know how it ends.
No,
No,
but
it's okay.
literally, it's the beginning of the movie. That's the first shot of the movie. Is that guy getting shot?
Oh,
It's,
okay.
it
Well, then you
starts.
can see it.
You never seen Memento?
No.
It
You should
basically
see it.
starts at the end, and then you go back like 10 minutes, and it goes back to the end, and then you go back another 10 minutes, and it goes back to where you left. It's like it's a really weird order. But there's
like reverse. Basically.
it's not in reverse. You're not
we have,
watching
a,
it
we have a
backwards.
word for that. in the English.
It starts at the
the
end and
end
works
and work your way
backwards.
back to the
But
beginning.
it works in stages, and it's
It's-
also
it's-
intertwined with stuff happening forwards, but in the past.
I think they have it
Sort
streaming
of.
on Hulu and Netflix too. I think so.
It starts
watch
with
it.
the in chronological order. It starts with the black and white and ends with him shooting the guy in the head. I think.
Right. Did you like Memento?
I did.
Yeah.
There's just really funny moments where he'll just like appear in a situation running, and another guy's running, and he's like, "Am I chasing this guy? I don't know what I'm doing." He just carries on running, and then the guy shoots him. And he's like, "Nope, he's chasing me." And there's one bit where he just appears in a bathroom, so he's like, "Oh, I guess I'll take a shower." And what he doesn't know is he's knocked out a dude in the other room, and then the guy like busts in on him or something. I can't remember.
Right,
It's good.
wait-
It's a good movie. It's kind of funny, like the situations he finds himself in, and as the audience, you're dropped exactly where he is, so you don't know what the hell's going on.
Yeah, it's an early Christopher Nolan film. It's like, especially if you liked Inception, you should watch Memento. Got Guy Pearce in it too. I like him. He's a good actor.
Yeah, he's not in a lot of stuff.
Man, he was in
He was
Hurt
like he was in
Locker.
Hurt Locker for like 5 minutes.
Spoiler. Yeah, but yeah, he's not in a lot. He was in. I think his biggest movie was.
Memento.
I want to say L.A. Confidential.
Oh, he was in that.
Yeah, he was the
LA
lead in
Confidential
that.
was a good movie. I haven't seen that since the theater.
It's hard to see a bunch of movies now that you've already seen. I mean, how often do you go back and watch a movie again?
Yeah.
You know?
I want to rewatch it. I remember really liking LA Confidential.
Let me see. Guy
Who's in LA
Pearce.
Confidential?
What's his name? The guy I hate, Russell Crowe.
Russell Crowe? Yeah.
That blonde chick that was married to Kim Basinger.
Yeah, he's in. His biggest ones are Memento, LA Confidential, Hurt Locker, and something called Neighbors. I guess that was one of his early films.
Wasn't he in Prometheus?
Prometheus. No, you think he played the android? You think in Prometheus?
No,
a
he
dude
played
from-
the old guy.
Oh, he was.
yeah,
he
he
did
was.
play the old guy in Prometheus. Yeah.
You know, it's so weird
Good job,
too.
Gavin.
Thanks.
Somebody made a really good point about Prometheus. So there's a character that appears in the movie. It's a super old dude, and it's played by Guy Pearce in old dude makeup. But why do you cast an actor and put them in old dude makeup if you're never going to show the person young?
Yeah, he is actually shown young, but it was in like
A video.
It was like supplementary. It wasn't even in the movie.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but there's no point.
Yeah.
I felt at some point like this liquid was going to de-age him, and it'd be like, "Hey, it's a young Guy Pearce." No,
Right.
they couldn't just hide. And also, old makeup has never been convincing ever,
Yeah,
at
ever.
any point.
Do you think there would be like an old actors union that would like rally around this
Right.
cause?
And I've also all I think of now.
Sag.
But all I think of now when I see an actor in old makeup, I just think of Johnny Knoxville and Spike Jonze walking around as old dudes.
They looked awesome though.
They did look awesome.
Yeah, when they did that stuff.
They looked awesome. They looked better than most movies.
Yeah.
They look better than most old people. They look more realistic.
Okay, I'm gonna start trying to wrap this up. So, what are you gonna interrupt me with here, Bernie?
Did you read the story about? I want to say it was Progressive. I should probably. This is all allegedly.
yes, it was Progressive.
This is crazy. Where okay, I'm gonna try to paraphrase here based on what I read. Okay, so you have to go look up the story yourself and read it because it's a court case where essentially this woman had Progressive as her insurance carrier, and she was struck and killed by a driver who didn't have as much insurance as she did. So it was the other driver's fault, and this driver did not have enough insurance. Well, her policy with insurance that her family tried to collect on said that if she was struck by an uninsured or negligent driver
Or underinsured.
or underinsured driver, that her policy was worth X amount, like $100,000. And so basically, Progressive said, well, we can't prove that he was negligent or underinsured, so you're going to have to sue him in order to determine that he's negligent. When it's proven in a court of law, then the policy will kick in and be in effect. So they made him jump through those hoops. They said, well, we don't want to sue this guy in court. You know, we don't want to go through that process as a grieving family. Progressive said, well, that's the only way you can do it. So they said, okay, I guess we'll sue the guy. They go to sue the guy, and when they show up in court, the guy is represented by an attorney from Progressive. They represented their client's killer so that they wouldn't have to pay as much money.
Oh,
Isn't that the weirdest thing you've ever heard?
That's so fucked up.
Ugh.
Like, it's cheaper to pay this attorney to defend the guy who killed her than it is to pay $100,000.
one of those
That
things
is awful.
It's one of those things that just makes
Jesus.
sense on paper when you write the numbers out. Yeah, we should defend the guy because it's cheaper for us in the long run if we defend the guy and get him off than to just pay out in the policy. But then they're paying.
when did they find that piece of paper in hell?
I know. So as a client
Good
paying,
Lord.
your client is paying you to insure them, and then when you need the policy, they're like, "Oh, we're going to defend your killer because it'll be cheaper for us." Wow, dude.
Yeah.
Wow. How do you make that call? How do you just like
It must
decide you're
be
going to do
nice
that?
to be able to be a person, because obviously some person made that decision, but be able to hide behind a giant company. It must be. I mean, what point do you start doing that? Making like morally incorrect decisions, but just be like,
No one will ever come back to me. Yeah,
Just,
it's true.
It's just Progressive.
I'm a guy in an office.
You know, I can tell you that, we're coming up on 10 years as a company. We're now at about 40 people at the company. But for a long time, there was just 5 of us working here. And that was like 4, 5, 6 years that we were like that. I watched that, like, as your company grows, watched little decisions that can take place like that. Like, I was in a room one time where we were talking about T-shirts. And this is very relevant because we just got back from Canadian National Expo, where we had to go to Canada, take a bunch of our merchandise up there, and then bring it back. Actually, they sold all of our merchandise.
Yes,
at Canadian
they sold
National.
everything.
That's like the greatest thing ever. Because
Every single thing.
No,
Yeah.
yeah.
They don't have to
Not
ship anything
traveling
back.
back with anything.
Nope.
They don't ship anything back. It was perfect. So, but there was a time when we, of course, had to ship some stuff back, and we learned that there's this rule that you can only import something to the U.S. once. Maybe it's specifically with cotton or
I
clothing.
think it was, shirts.
Yeah. So our shorts, it turns out our shirts were made in Ecuador. And so we imported them to the U.S. to print stuff on them, and then we, ship them to people and whatever. That's fine. We could take the shirts to Toronto, but then anything we didn't sell, it turned out we were going to have to leave in Toronto. Okay? Because we couldn't bring it back into the U.S. because it had already been imported once from Ecuador. I don't know why this rule
How
exists.
does that like determined? Like, how do you know that?
Well, I mean, we could try to skirt the law and say, we're not doing it, but I guess we had to declare it. And if they put it on you to declare something, always declare it.
Yeah, no shit.
Yeah, they can look at the fucking tag on the shirt. Like, oh, made in Ecuador, right there.
Yeah, and if they find out that you didn't declare it, you can be really fucked. Like, those penalties are much bigger.
It's annoying.
So anyway, we're in the office and we're talking about that, and I said, well, if this is a big debate, how much is it to buy a blank shirt, essentially, as we call them blanks before we print on them, a shirt that's made in the USA? Because then we can, if it's made in the US, we can just import it and export it as much as we want to and take it to cons all day long, like to Australia, to Toronto, wherever. And we determined it was 25 cents more per shirt to do that. And I said, we were like, oh, well, it's only 25 cents more. Why don't we just make all of our shirts made in the USA? Let's do that. And then we were like, oh, that makes sense. Totally makes sense. And then somebody, I forget who it was. I want to say it was, somebody. They did the calculation on how many shirts we sell. And they came up, well, 25 cents a shirt, it actually turns out to be a significant amount of money. Look, and they held up how much it is. And then somebody goes, oh, well, yeah, well, maybe we should think about it in terms of like what's best for the company. And somebody else goes, yeah, picked up on that immediately and goes, yeah, it's probably better for the company if we just do this and we just plan our conventions a little better. It's like, yeah, it's better for the company. And I was like, what? There's 4 of us in this room. Who are we talking? Who's the company? It's like we invented this thing called the company. We're the company. And we're talking about it like it's something else.
Yeah, it becomes an entity. It becomes
That's exactly it. I watched that process take place. It was something where we decided we were in the process of making a decision where we could make this thing we didn't want to do, but we were going to put it on this thing called the company, like the company wants us to do it.
We don't want to do it.
Yeah.
The company's making
The company
Yeah.
forced us.
So what's the weirdest change for you going from so long as a 5-person company to now a 40-person company? Is there anything that you like? Are there things that happen where you're like, well, that wouldn't have happened?
I can't find a fucking parking space.
Yeah.
Now we had problems with parking in Buda though too.
God
Well, that's
damn.
'cause that was an
I
apartment.
guess so.
When we first
I love the fact that your first office was a living room and a kitchen and a bedroom.
our first office was my house.
Yeah, but that wasn't
Bedroom
really,
in my
people
house.
didn't go to work every day in there, did they?
They did. People showed
People
up.
were like shut up Monday to Friday in your bedroom.
No, not
They
Monday
were
to
like
Friday.
office hours, yeah.
Yeah.
But like the office was the apartment.
Yeah, it was an apartment. Because it had
was-
everything we wanted. It had a fridge, and it had a dishwasher, and it had a sink and a bathroom.
I remember there was because it was full. It was no room for me when I used to come because you guys would be in the living room and then you'd be in the bedroom. Jason would be by the toilet for some reason.
He was by the washer dryer connection.
Yeah,
Right.
And I would just sit on a stool at like the kitchen bar.
Right.
And that's where Gus used to
That make you
change
fill
my
out the
desktop
forms.
background.
I can't think of the weirdest thing. I mean, probably all the travel. I had never been out of the country before we started Rooster Teeth.
Yeah, I got my
Never.
first passport for a
Yeah.
Rooster Teeth trip.
Never.
Americans don't travel.
I'm sure I'll do the same. I still don't have my
I'm pretty sure
passport.
everyone in England has travelled multiple
It's
times.
Your
easier.
country is the size of half of our states, man. I mean, that's why. Look, I listen. I had been
Well,
to
some- most
Minnesota.
people-
I'd
some-
been to New York. If you go to New York, the equivalent of New York, you're in goddamn Italy. That's why. It's just we have a bigger country.
Yeah, but a lot of people haven't even ever left Texas. They've been born here and never left.
Texas is huge. Texas is bigger than your fucking country.
Yeah, all right. Bad example.
Wait,
it's
there's
just hard to
a
escape in one day.
there's a weird stat too. I read that I forget it was a really high percentage. I want to say it's like as many as 70% of people die within 50 miles of where they're born.
That's sad.
Isn't that crazy to think
Is
about
that,
that?
is that
wait.
America?
Are you within 50 miles of where you're born?
Yeah, I'm probably within 10 miles of where I was born.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, I was born in Austin.
You just had like this look on
yeah.
your face as you were.
Yeah, I was
talking
like,
about
that's
that.
fucking sad. Like, oh, wait, no.
He literally had that. Oh fuck! Look on his face where his eyes got real wide. He went.
I think my house is like 2 miles from where I was born.
I would not want to die in the same hospital I popped out in. It'd be like ending my life back where it started. There's something weird about
It's like it's like a Christopher Nolan movie.
Yeah. If you follow like if the dot starts when you were born and then it draws a line all around the planet where you went in your life and ended on the exact same dot, there's something quite sad about that.
No,
Is that
it's like
sad? How's that sad?
I don't know.
If you never go anywhere your entire life, that's a
if
little
the
bit
dot
sad.
just stays like right around
Yeah,
there.
if your dot's all
that's
over
whole-
the place and you come back, I don't see how that's sad.
It'd be interesting.
All
I want to map.
We're
this
going to wrap
for
up unless you're looking up something there, Bernie.
I'm just looking up that stat to see if I can figure it out.
All right,
you
well,
know.
we'll link it in the dump.
But I was going to say, but going back to a discussion we were having earlier about the annoying thing, the most annoying thing to me of it inconveniences people who are doing the right thing and it's just trying to prevent people from who are doing the bad thing is anything and everything that has to do with piracy and copy protection. That just...
the steps you have to take to get something that you bought to work sometimes.
And the new thing is now you have to be connected to the internet for
Yeah.
some of your stuff to work. And then the pirated versions have all that stuff stripped out. They don't even see it. They don't even touch it. They have a better version than I do.
Yeah, the annoying thing is that most times it's more convenient and easier to use when it's a pirate.
We,
copy.
since we do animation here, we have copies of Maya and 3ds Max, which we've purchased legally through Autodesk.
Thank you.
Which are a fucking pain in the ass. Anytime we have a licensing problem, I have to go, call someone or talk to someone. I think if I just downloaded this off the Pirate Bay, we wouldn't be having this problem.
No, I wouldn't have to be on the phone right now.
I paid, god awful amounts of money to Autodesk to have to call them anytime I have to reinstall.
Well, it's the same with...
Or transfer a license to a new computer.
To another machine. Or, this person's hard drive died. Time to put a new one in. So, oh, my God.
And it's the same for, even buying a license, especially with Final Cut 7. You can't go through the standard way of buying it online anymore. You have to, call a specific number to get a license for that now, don't you?
Correct.
That's just annoying. You can't buy it. Because they released Final Cut X or 10 or
because they're trying to push everyone to the shitty version.
The one that's in the App Store?
I've never seen a group of people reject Apple's push. They were shoving everyone in, and everyone was just absolutely not. We are not using this.
Right.
Do you think anyone went from Final Cut 7 to Final Cut X?
But God, listen, no, but I can't believe that Gavin uses that new scrolling methodology they have where you scroll up to go up.
It makes sense to me on a trackpad.
On a trackpad.
On a mouse, I don't do that.
Right.
It's like an iPhone where you do like this to scroll down
on the
instead of
trackpad,
like that.
And on the trackpad, instead of scrolling down to move your page up, you got to picture it like you're actually pulling the screen. So by dragging down, you're pulling the page down.
Oh, you're talking about what? On your computer?
On your computer.
On like a laptop.
See, it doesn't matter for me because I don't have an iPhone, so it makes perfect sense.
Yeah, but
I totally agree with what
they
he's
put it
saying.
on laptops and the actual Macs.
So let
really?
me put this, you ever use a mouse with a scroll wheel?
Yeah.
You want to scroll down the page, you do this, right?
Yeah.
That would scroll up now.
Interesting.
Yeah, it doesn't really make sense on a Mac. But I've got to the point where I have several computers and they're all set differently to the point where I can adjust almost immediately. I can just take one scroll and be like, I'm doing this now.
Yeah, it's the almost part. That's
No, but it's
It's awful.
Yeah.
Fuck it.
Yeah,
Okay, we're gone really long.
What do we do for lunch today?
I want pizza. No, I want grilled cheese. There's a grilled cheese place up. No, we can't go there. It's too
I
far.
want Jersey Mike's.
We already had it.
Alright, I was trying to keep the illusion alive.
Oh, well, we
Thanks.
You guys have already eaten?
Yeah.
Bitches.
It's like
What do you want to go for
4
lunch?
o'clock.
What do you want to go for lunch?
I want
It's not really,
I want
is
a
it?
grilled cheese sandwich.
There's a good grilled
it
cheese. There was a grilled cheese place that was outside of E3. Why is there no grilled cheese trailer in Austin?
There's a grilled cheese restaurant up at the Triangle.
What the fuck kind of restaurant is that? We got cheese and bread.
It's artisanal cheeses and artisanal
Oh,
bread.
shit.
Can
All right,
we
I'm
have-
sold.
I ate at an awesome place like a week ago called Barley Swine. You should go eat at that place, guys.
There's a variant of that place, or like another place like Barley Swine that just opened near where I live called the Salty Sow.
The Salty Sow.
Yeah.
Yeah, they do this
Same
thing where
idea.
they give you the little plates, or it's a normal size plate, but it has like a little bit of food on it. So you order like 4 or 5
I
plates.
hate that shit though.
We've discovered this.
Come on.
Just
This
give me a
place.
fucking big plate of food. I hate the little bits of food.
Nope. You need to try
Oh.
different stuff.
No, fuck that.
We found this place called Bangers. Have you ever been to Bangers?
I have been there.
Tremendous sausage and probably the biggest selection of beer I've ever seen. They
It
have
is
a
good.
wall just full of 50 beer taps.
You ever been to the Gingerman
You
down
should go to
there?
the Ginger Man.
Yeah,
No.
you would freak out.
Would I?
No.
When you freak out, you'd be like, oh, Gavin freakouts are the best.
Okay, thanks for listening.
Goodbye.
Bye.
So there was this other time that we were